Hello and welcome to Poker Night Live. Lyndsay and James Browning have just come to the diary room. Sorry, I'm going to get Big Brother out of my mouth. Welcome to Poker Night Live. I'm Lyndsay, joined by James Browning tonight. Hello. Not seen you for ages.
Lyndsay.
James is a big fan of Nikki.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Or is it Leah, the one with the breasts?
How are you, Lyndsay?
I'm very well.
Lyndsay, you look very, very healthy.
I think I've caught a bit of sun today. I'm
let me
quite
just check
impressed.
out. You're brown as a berry.
Quite impressed. There you go. We're here with you till 2 o'clock anyway, watching live online Texas Hold'em. We've got the usual cash games and tournaments for you, and MTT as well. And as always, it's your show. We want everyone to get involved tonight, James,
yes,
don't we?
Please, please.
We want a lot of emails and texts, lots of fun tonight, lots of good questions. So please do get in touch with us. Here's how you do it. There's the text number 84222. Put the word poker at the start of your message. To evict James, text 84222. Put the word poker at the start of your message. Or if you'd like to send us an email, the address is on your screen now. It's poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And if you want to find out any more information about this show, there's the web address. It's www.pokernightlive.co.uk. So we've got a good night coming up tonight. James, will you show us what we've got on offer on our tables?
Yes, I will. Let's have a look. And we're kicking off with a 25-cent, 50-cent cash game. Just to let you know, by the way, in case you don't really think it's live, Portugal have just won 1-0.
There you go, yeah, just.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, James is very happy. It was a bit close at the end.
And this is a $10 sit and go. First level, 1020. And that's the old structure, all starting with 1,000. And now, dropping down in price, we go to a $2 sit and go. Also the old structure, also the first level. And finally, on the green, it's a $10 MTT. We've got 65 runners, and it's rebuys and add-ons. And we will be dipping into that tournament throughout the night, and definitely joining it for the final.
We will at the end. I always like watching the final table. Good stuff there.
Yeah, it is.
So, talking about Portugal winning, I don't normally bet, but I did have a bet on the World Cup, and I have to say it went down on the first night.
Oh dear.
I picked every game. Tried to pick the winner of every single group game. Because I don't normally do, but I thought I'll try and get interested in the games when England are playing. It'll give me like a reason to watch them. And of course I had Poland to beat Ecuador. Down the Swanee the first night. There you go. That'll teach me a lesson not to get involved in betting. There you go. Okay, get your emails and texts coming through. We do want to hear from you tonight, and we're going to head over to our first table now. It's our MTT. There it is.
Yes, bright green multi-table time.
So it's one rebuy and one add-on, is that right,
I
James?
believe that's the case. And there's the 65 runners. So we won't know how many chips are in play until the end of the rebuy period. The rebuy period goes on for an hour.
Yeah, and then we can give out what the prizes are going to be when we know.
Yes, after the hour.
Yeah.
That's right. And at the end of that hour, they have the option to have an add-on.
Yes.
So,
which you'd expect anyone still in would take advantage of?
Probably, unless they'd got such an enormous stack that it didn't make any difference.
Yeah.
I mean, if the guy was sitting there with 20,000, it would be insignificant adding 1,500 on top of it. It'd be better to keep his $10 in his pocket.
Yes, he might as well keep hold of it.
So therefore, you've got to evaluate if it's worthwhile having the add-on or not.
Don't just do it for
So
the
it's
sake
another
of it.
financial decision you've got to make.
Yes.
So as I've given a little standby before, just as a general guideline, is I like to increase my stack by at least a third if I'm going to have an add-on.
Right.
So therefore, if I've got let's say if I've got 4,500 chips.
Yes.
And the add-on I'm getting 1,500 chips. That would be exactly on the cusp.
Right.
Because I would be increasing my stack by a third.
So it's a significant amount, and definitely that's a good
Right, so that
gauge
would be
to work it on.
the balance
yeah.
where I did it. Now I'd look at the chips around the table, see if I was at a table where people were chipped up. In that case, I would have the add-on because I say I want to make sure that I keep it as one of the ones in good chip situation.
Yeah, no, that's quite a good idea actually.
And so therefore, if you'd only got 1,500 chips at the end of the buy-in period, then obviously an add-on is tremendous value.
Because it's going to double you up.
Yes, and it's going to double your stack. Here we are, the blinds are 10-20.
So River King's hit his straight draw.
Well, yes, but it's only one end of it, isn't it? There's
Yes,
only one
he
card,
needs
he's
a
just looking for a 5, so he's only got 4 outs. And actually, Harley is actually winning by virtue of having a king. But he checks.
Yes, I'm not quite sure where he is.
And
Now he's definitely
hit his
winning.
10, but of course it is a diamond. So, but he has got 1 diamond in his hand. Whether yes, he's maybe nervous of the diamond. He's just checked it, but I'm sure he'll call if River King bets small, and he will call that. He does, and he wins that.
River King could have maybe taken that down if he'd put in a more substantial bet.
Maybe, but perhaps he doesn't need to make such a. He doesn't. He's already in reasonable chip shape. River King. I don't think he needs to make any have to put a big bluff in there. The pot wasn't that big, so he doesn't really need to
Just
take
wasn't
a
worth
risk
it in
there,
that
no.
situation.
He tried a small bluff and then. But Harley played it quite well there. He checked it because there was a flush there, but he was going to check and call. He'd already said that in his mind. And what he did was he actually tempted the River King to give him a few chips.
Give him 40.
Because, of course, if Harley had bet, he wouldn't have got paid.
Yes, he would have just folded it. So all these things you have to be thinking about when you're making those bets, or just checking.
Yeah, well, Harley, of course, the other thing was he was thinking, if I bet, what he didn't want to face was suddenly a raise, because now, that would be asking...
He has no idea where he is, or he thinks he's behind
now,
if he's raised.
Well, he thinks at this time, when he checks it, I think he thinks he's winning, but he thinks if I bet and my opponent comes over the top of me,
what
now,
do I do
has
then?
he really got the flush, or has he got this? So that it's harder for him now.
Yeah.
So that's why he checked and said, OK, I'll leave the door open for you to try and steal with a small bet, or not pay you too much if you've made your hand.
Because you always have to have that in your mind when you make a bet. What will I do if I'm raised?
You've got to think what happens next.
Yes.
So it's never the case of what shall I do now? It should be what shall I do now? And if I do that, what happens next?
Yes.
But if I do that, what happens next? So that's how we translate what we should be doing, by thinking ahead, by looking ahead. It's not just that one. It's not just a decision on that one little part of the game.
It's what will I do when he responds to that?
Exactly.
And what if he puts a bet in and he is raised? If he thinks he'll fold, then should he not put the bet in the first place?
In that case, there he's only got he's only got a pair of tens there.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to bet there, because if his opponent's got nothing, he'll probably pass if he bets, and he's only going to receive attention from his opponent if his opponent has got a better hand, or if his opponent decides he wants to bluff him.
Yes.
So it's going to be a problem for him either way.
So the check was just the right move there,
Yeah, because
he managed
he's not going to
to
get paid off when
a little few more chips out of
Yeah, he actually did.
Yeah.
And also he kept control of the situation. And that's what good poker players do. They keep control of the situation. They contain the size of the pots.
Yeah.
They keep the pots smaller because they want to just keep control of everything.
Yeah.
So therefore, a good poker player, it's very hard to get his chips off him.
Yeah.
Because a good poker player would be well capable of putting hands down, well capable of not over-betting situations.
They're like the conductor of the orchestra, keeping everyone
that's a nice way of putting it.
in order. They're in charge. Not a lot there.
Which member of the Big Brother house would be the conductor of the orchestra?
I think Richard is trying to be. the American guy. I think he's trying to be the daddy of the house.
I thought it could be Pete with his big baton.
Yes. It's making you feel a bit insecure, isn't it,
Yeah, I don't
James,
like hearing about that.
watching
It makes me
Pete?
sick. They're all making references to it. I don't hear that.
Yeah. Bless him. Yeah, no, I think Richard's
So he'd
definitely
be
trying to.
be the conductor.
Yeah.
He's a bit.
I think Pete would more be like the trombone player.
I think Richard would say anything to anyone, though.
Yes, he's losing a bit of his power, I think.
Okay. Both got queens. Both got a pair of threes. And their kickers have been negated by the 10. So therefore, they get a split pot. So although Ricky had the smaller kicker than Tragic Trev.
Yeah, because hands like that can often confuse new players, because a lot of new players may think that Tragic Trev, because he had the 6.
Instead of, yes.
It doesn't
You've got to
matter.
think of your 5-card hand. So in that case, they both had queen, queen, 3, 3, 10.
On the, that doesn't matter if it's
So
on the
that
board
was the
or not.
5-card
Yes.
poker hand. So it's your 5-card poker hand wherever it comes from.
Yes.
So that's what they both had, and that's why it was a split pot.
Because when I first started playing, pots like that used to really confuse
Yeah,
me.
because you don't know
Yeah.
if the kicker is relevant or not.
Yes.
Yeah. Right, well, we've had a raise from the King 9 on the button. It's been called by the pair of 6s, raised by the pair of jacks. Rod Daniel.
Can't see Hig getting involved here at all.
No, and I think that's good. He's taken down quite a nice pot there. And the jacks, of course, wouldn't like to see an ace, king or queen on the flop.
No.
So it's good that he actually asked the question.
And if he found out where he was, you know,
and
he knows that if that got called, it's probably likely that it's a hand that's beating him.
yeah. Or a danger hand. Also, he was going to thin the field a little bit. He didn't want to be. The pair of jacks doesn't particularly want to be fighting 2 people.
No.
Because, as I said, there'd be more danger. One of the high cards haven't connected with his opponent, or one of his opponents.
So Ricky's raising with his 5s.
And just been called by the 10 queen suited. Chirpy call for raise 10 queen. And look, Jack 10's called. And so there's 2 people who've hit the 10. And at the moment, the queen, the bigger kicker, is certainly significant. But the first 10, i.e. the Jack 10 from nap hands, has bet 300. And look what the 5s has hit. Lovely trips.
5s, yeah.
So he's got 2 people involved here. It's a dream. Oh, what a dream it is now, because Hig has done the big all-in.
Goodness.
Nap hands, I would think, is...
Yeah.
Oh, well done, he passed. Very good. And there's Rick with the 3 5s. And thank you very much.
Ricky got paid off Hig big
A
time.
very big payday for trip 5s. Well, that was an interesting one there. We've got Hig there now, down to 115. He's gone all in.
Suited connectors. Not the worst hand in the world he could have had, I suppose.
Well, it's hard to win. It's tough to win with it, but okay, he's actually ended up heads up. And against a pair of 2s, he's not bad. He can hit his 8. He's done that. Oh, he's doubled up. He's got 275.
Yeah, we'll see how long he can last with that 275 very soon. I'm just going to get this quick email from Chris because it's regarding tournaments. Chris says, "Greetings. I have a $1,000 prize pool MTT coming up later and was wondering if you've got any suggestions concerning the way I play. My standard form of play in either single table tourneys or MTTs seems to result in me bubbling or cashing in a low paid position. I tend to start a tournament tight and loosen up a bit when the blinds have increased a few levels. I'm more than capable of mixing the way I play various hands and feel that I can play a flop quite well. I've tried playing a loose game early on when the blinds are relatively low and thereby gain a number of tiny pots to boost my chip stack and maybe free roll some plays later in the tournament, but this style does not seem to sit well with me. Any suggestions would be greatly appreciated."
Okay, It sounds like your tight style early on should be a consistent way of playing. And probably you'll take advantage of people overplaying hands in the early stages, so you'll be making your way through the field. But the problem is that you tend to be bubbling or cashing in low positions. So that's where your problem is when you're coming to, say, the last 18 of the tournament, say, if it's a multi-table tournament. And this is where you've got to really keep an eye on your chip situation in relation to the other players and in relation to the average stack size at that time. And you really want to be keeping pace with that average stack size. Now, because these tournaments, the prizes often weighted very much in the top few prizes, you don't want to be falling in love too much with just even getting to that final. In fact, once you get near the latter stages, people are trying to hang on, and this is where you want to be using position just as much as hands to put pressure on people. When you see there's weakness, where you see that they're wanting to hang on, you can actually now take advantage of this and make good strong raises, good strong plays when you really feel they'd rather not call. And that will actually help you to get through to those latter stages. Somewhere along the line, it might end up that you do get involved in a pot, and it could be you even end up in the pot where you're the wrong side of it. But it probably won't be a big underdog. If you can win this, all of a sudden you'll have doubled up your stack and you'll be in great chip shape. But just by limping along, then you're never going to get chips. That's the problem. So somewhere along the line, we have to take risks. And where a good place to take risks is not in the early stages too much, because it's wrong, I believe. Later, when the blinds are bigger, then the rewards are better if we get away from it. I.e., when you try to steal blinds and the blinds are big, our risk-reward ratio is correct. Early stages, when the blinds are very small, you don't want to be stealing blinds. They're worth nothing. So therefore, you want to be limping and making hands. And we've really got to get it clear in our heads, the two differences. So those latter stages, look for opportunities. Just look for situations. Look for people who don't defend their blinds. And your hand does not have to be as big as you think at this stage if you think that the situation fits.
So there you go, Chris. I hope that's helped you out. You seem to have no problem getting to that stage anyway, in the early
it's just
stages,
that latter stage
yeah,
where he needs to now pick the moment to be aggressive. When other people are trying to hang on, be the contrarian and look for positions to attack. Yeah,
we'll give that a try, Chris, anyway, and let us know how you get on later. I would love to hear back from you. If you've got any questions for James, you can text 84222 is the text number, 84222. There it is. Put the word poker at the start of your message, or you can email. And that's the address. It's on your screen now. It's poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Okay, we'll get back to the MTT a bit later, but we're going to have a little look at a cash game. It's 25 cent, 50 cents.
And here we go. 25 cent, 50 cent. Maximum buy-in, $50. And we've got nap hands on the button with a pair of sevens. He's made it $1.50, 3 times the big blind. And Tragic Trev on the big blind won't want to play. I think he's only got 9-5 off suit. A poor hand and out of position, not a good recipe.
Now we've got Ace King on the small blind,
which is a far better situation, and he'd quite like King Whip to raise, and he has done. Oh goodness, I'm predicting this again in a minute. It's getting scary.
I'm going to start calling you Mystic James.
And Tragic Trev, he come over the top, and look at this. Is he going to play tricky and check? Because King Whip's actually connected with the 8. No, he's just going to bet out there. Oh! And King Whip is raised.
He's dying to get this pot, King Whip. Oh, back
and it's a small re-raise.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like table tennis.
No, that's even better for Tragic Trev.
It's 2 pairs for King Whip. Now, King Whip actually is less likely to believe that Tragic Trev's got the ace.
It's got a full house now.
No.
Yes. 3 aces, 2
Oh, 3 aces, beg your pardon. Sorry, yes, beg your pardon. Full house, yes. So it's poor old King Whip there. He had his 2 pairs. Tragic Trev, aces and kings.
And a nice pot he took down.
He did. He got his money there. Very happy with that. And $31 now. Well done, Tragic Trev.
Not so tragic after all.
Definitely not. And we've got a raise from Tony Corbett, King Jack, called by Kamichi with his ace-10 suited. And he's checked, and is Tony going to follow up his raise with a bet? No, he doesn't. But he's clicked with the king. Now Kamichi, of course, would love to see a jack, which would give him top straight, but he's got a flush draw there. Is he going to represent? Yes, he is. He's bet, but it's no good for him. But that queen can be a little bit scary for Tony Corbett now. What was Kamichi playing with? He doesn't know. And there it is. It quietened him down. He didn't dare bet.
Yeah.
He just didn't know where he was.
Is that the best thing to do in that situation?
Yes, I think if you don't know, because it's a little bit the same situation as we had before. If he bets there, he's not going to be betting very confidently.
Yeah.
He might leave the door open for his opponent to raise him big style, and he mightn't feel he can call it because he thinks, oh, you've got trip queens, and he might pass it. So therefore, again, what is his opponent going to call him with?
Yeah.
So when you're betting, you've got to say, what losing hand will my opponent call me with?
Yeah. It's almost like you have to have the plan set out in your head before you make the move, and you never want to get yourself into the situation where you don't know what you'll do. You have to have each step worked out, what you'll do in every...
It's like when we talk sometimes, when we talk about, say, implied odds, and that's when we say we can call a certain type of hand, because if we win it, we can win more chips.
Yes.
So therefore, the guideline for this is that we need to have a big stack of chips, and our opponent needs to have a big stack of chips, so that if we do hit our miracle card, then there's the potential to get paid.
Yes.
But we've also got to think of one other thing. Okay, in a perfect world, I've got a big stack of chips, my opponent's got a big stack of six, I go for a middle pin, I hit the middle pin, and he gives me all his chips.
Right.
That's a perfect world. But we've got to now say, what opponent are we playing against? Is this the opponent who does pay off hands?
Yeah.
Or is it someone who doesn't pay off hands? So therefore, that's all part of the equation. So it's not just, yes, he's fit one criteria, he's got enough chips, or she's got enough chips.
It's how does he play with those chips?
Yeah, and will he actually pay off, or would he just run away and not pay?
Yeah.
If he would run away and not pay...
How do you get at least a little bit out of him?
It's no point playing this obscure hand, because you're not going to get paid off anyway.
Right.
So therefore you'd be trying to hit a miracle, but never to get rewarded, because he's not the sort of person to reward you.
Yeah.
Or what sort of hand would he need to have made to reward you? Now, is that flop... Can you name a hand which he could have, which would not beat your straight...
Yeah.
but which he would pay you off with? See, that's how you've got to think ahead. So you've got to put these searching questions out there.
Yeah.
And see if they fit the bill. If they don't, that will help you with the decisions.
Of whether to even play it at all.
Yeah.
And I guess then, if you do play in a situation like that, you're actually going to end up frustrating yourself, because if you do hit that miracle card and don't get paid, that could affect you psychologically.
Well, yes, it also means you've made a very bad play, because you were taking the wrong odds on making the play, only on the presumption that you're going to get paid if you connect.
Yeah.
So therefore, when we try that 1,000 times, that's what we're looking at. Well, if all of a sudden on the first trial we don't even get paid after we've made a hand, this is looking pretty poor on this situation against this opponent. So all these plays are dependent on the opposition, and on every member of the opposition is slightly different.
Yes.
And that's why the game is so difficult, but so...
Because you're playing with people, you're not playing with robots.
That's right, but it's so pleasing as well, because it's a giant puzzle.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of... It's not just you always play this hand one way. It's not like that. It's a matter of against this person I'll play it this way, but against that person I'll play it that way. And against this one, well, I'll vary my play anyway to keep them guessing. There's all different criteria to be fulfilled.
Like every hand's a different jigsaw, and you have to put all the pieces together.
That's right.
The analogies are coming thick and fast tonight, James.
They certainly are.
I've had jigsaws, orchestras,
Yeah.
Big Brother. Where next?
And Tony Corbett, King Jack, and he's raised again. They seem to be raising with a few chirpy hand. He's in sort of middleish position there. But and he's just captured the blinds.
Yeah.
Johan Harren there, under the gun, just calls with ace queen. Pool 8 just calls. King whip. No thanks, tragic.
So here, Johan Harren should already have decided what he will do if someone then raises.
I think he's going to call it. I think
Yeah.
he's just trying to be deceptive. And he's actually hit second pair. He might actually bet now just to find... No, he hasn't. I actually think Johan thinks he's winning anyway. And I think he's going to play this, even though there's a king on the board. We'll see. Oh, maybe not. No, he's... Oh, yes, he has. He's doing a big duel up there. He's perhaps trying to make it look like it was a very hard call for him. Let's see what he does with this one. I wouldn't be surprised to see him raise, and that's what he has done. That's exactly what he does. I thought all along he believed his second pair was winning.
Yeah.
He did the long duel up to make it look like it was a very hard call for him. He checked that
But
the guy
he knew
bet
all
again,
along.
and then he raised him.
Yeah.
And
Clever play.
yes, and actually read what he was doing exactly
Yeah.
there. He slow played the ace queen. He didn't believe anyone was slow playing a king,
Yeah.
and that's why he believed he was winning. And he played it so,
Yeah.
and he trapped the guy. And that is very nice money play.
Yeah.
Because in money play, we look to maximise our wins. In fact, there's sort of three things we're doing in money games. We look to maximise our wins.
Okay.
We look, and we can take more risks
Yeah.
because we have another life. We can rebuy again. It's
yes,
not just
you
like in a
can-
tournament you've got one
when
life.
you're out,
so
you're
therefore
out,
you can
yeah.
really look to squeeze every bit of value out of a pot. We also look to minimise our losses. So when we're in a hand and we feel that we've come into a collision of big hands, we try to now control the size of the pot and minimise our losses if we are on the wrong end of it.
Right.
And we also look for opportunities when it fits for us to steal
Okay.
and to steal a hand.
So it's maximising the wins, minimising the losses, and spotting those opportunities when you can take advantage and
To
make
steal.
a steal. Yeah.
Yes.
And there's the three rules of cash play.
Yes. And if you are playing a solid cash game,
Yeah.
this will help you in lots of ways. Because if you're playing in a solid cash game, you should be playing hands where you'll know where you are with your hand. So this will enable you to be tricky and also to maximise your win.
Yes.
If you're playing with solid cards, you now know that people know you're playing solidly, so you can tell more easily than other people that there's strength out there.
Yes.
So now you can back off and maybe check and call and minimise your losses
Yes.
in case on these collisions where other people wouldn't know where they were and would probably lose all their chips. And also if you're playing solidly in a cash game, when the window of opportunity is there for you to steal, it's going to be easier for you to steal.
Because you've already created that image
That
of,
reputation.
yes, of only playing with,
Yes.
with great cards and,
Yes.
and in the right situations.
So do you like
I
that?
do like it, James. I like the way it's very simply explained as well.
Good. Pool 8.
Bullet points, 3 steps.
Yes.
That's the best thing for new players like me.
5 times the big blind from Pool 8. He's playing his ace queen a completely different way to Johan, and he's just won 75 cents with his. And he actually had a better hand than Johan. He had ace queen suited, but Johan had ace queen offsuit and managed to get paid far more. Tony Corbett, ace king. Makes it 2. Tragic. Ace king. But he's got ace king out of position. Now, is Tony Corbett going to bet? There's $5 in the middle. Perhaps 3 would be nice. Oh, it is 3. Tragic. Passes. And there we go. 2 ace kings, but the ace king with position wins. Because Lyndsay has been very good, she's going to have a ham and mushroom pizza.
And pineapple.
Tragic Trev there with a pair of 4s.
Leah has created an image in this game that she is very loose.
I'll tell you what, this is true actually, this is not a joke, this is true. You can't believe what poker is, the poker industry is just going mad. I mean, there's so much happening in poker. I promise this is true. You're going to think, oh, he's a wind-up. It's not, this is true. They're going to make now poker condoms.
Oh, no
It's not a joke, I promise you they are. And they've created these poker condoms, and then they're in the shape of they're in the shape of poker chips.
Oh,
And you can even use these as chips in your game.
that's just wrong.
And also, inside some of them you can get a ticket. It'll be like a free entry into some poker tournament
So
as well.
what do you do when you put it on? Say, right, I'm just going to raise.
Well, I suppose if you play within your home game, it'll be handy when you go all in. But
Oh, that is the most ridiculous
it's true though. They have made them.
related thing I've heard.
But it is true. I promise you. They've got poker
Oh, my
condoms. It's
goodness.
absolutely true. I was amazed. Back to the game.
See, because I've started to see more
What,
when you're
poker
out
condoms?
shopping and stuff. No, like when you're out shopping, there's like socks with cards on,
yeah.
cufflinks, everything like that. But that is the most random poker product that I've heard of so far. If you've heard of any more, actually, then you can let us know. 84222. If you can beat James's poker condoms for the most random poker products, 84222 is the text number, and the email is poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. There it is for you, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk.
Yeah, I've seen these necklaces now with the cards and everything on the necklaces
Yes,
as well.
there's
now.
all sorts
That's
of different
coming
things
quite,
like that, yeah.
Obviously, but then people don't wear cufflinks so much now, but they have got aces on the
Socks
cufflinks.
and things, yeah, I've seen lots of things
What,
like
cards
that.
poker cards on the socks?
Yeah, do you know just like little embroidered cards on the side,
right.
like a couple of aces
Really?
and things? Yeah, I've seen things like that. But never anything of the rubber variety. Oh, goodness.
So we've got Snap It there with Big Slick on the big blind. Tony Corbett, I don't think is going to participate in this hand though. Snap It just wins the blinds. Tragic has got a pair of 10s. Let's see how he plays it. He makes it $2, 4 times the big blind. Tony Corbett passes, as do the blinds. This game seems quite tight at the moment. Kamichi, kings, how are you going to play them? And he's made it $3. Well, I don't think I'd wanted to make it more with my kings, to tell the truth. I think I want to get some opposition.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Kamichi
Yeah, so
there.
Kamichi there, perhaps a bit nervous after just having the rebuy, but I mean, when you've got a pair of kings, it's a massive hand. I don't want to scare everyone off. I want
Yes.
to play with his hand.
What would you put in there, 150 or even just call with
I
it?
could even limp with it or just put in a small raise with it, or 150 maximum.
Yeah.
Because I want to get some opposition.
So King Whip's done the same with his ace king there. That's slightly more understandable because
It is, because it's not a made hand, but
Yeah.
the kings is about it's the second best hand you get.
Yeah,
If you just win the blinds with the kings, this really is a disaster.
yeah.
Because that
That's not
hand,
maximising your
that's
win.
not maximising, exactly.
There you go.
Very good. That's not maximising your win. You know, because 75 cents, you're getting underpaid in this game for a pair of kings.
Yes.
You know, you would pay more for a pair of kings.
Yes.
Give me a pair of kings, I'll give you more than 75 cents
Yeah.
if you let me have kings. Because you know you could make money with kings.
Yes.
In the long run, you would make more than that 75 cents. It'd be a bargain to buy the kings for 75
Yeah,
cents.
absolutely.
So that's what he should be thinking. But what he did was he pushed people out.
Yeah. He didn't sit there and think, what is this hand
No.
worth to me?
No.
I think you're right, though. I think that is because he just lost that big pot to Snap It. I think he was a bit afraid.
Maybe. But also, because he hasn't got such a big stack, when he puts $3 in, that's more than 10% of his stack. That's a very significant bet from him. No wonder people run off. So all these different things we've got to think about, Lyndsay. It's not just a matter of I always make it 3 with a pair of kings.
No.
No, it's nothing like that. It's what your position is, who you're against, what is the characteristic of the game you're playing in at the moment.
And unless
and it's not, that's not, don't ever think that's a characteristic of the game, I know it, that's it. Watch that game.
Because every game is going to be different.
I know, but every game changes.
Yeah.
It's like a chameleon. It changes as the game goes on.
Yeah.
Why does it change? Because certain people are winning and certain people are losing. And this will alter the type of game, the structure of the game, the characteristics of the game.
Yeah.
Because if there's people losing are the ones who go on tilt, they're going to start playing every hand
Yes.
or raising up loads of things. If it's the guys winning who are very solid players anyway, they aren't going to play it too different themselves, but they might a little bit. Maybe they start to take on these people who are chasing or whatever. But you've just got to watch how it's all changing. You've got to monitor it all the time.
And keep asking yourself all of those questions, because I guess if you're not asking yourself questions like that, you're not playing properly.
Yeah, and you've got to notice and say, this player, when he's winning, he plays well. When he loses, he goes on tilt.
Yes.
Okay, how is he doing? He's losing. Okay, watch out, he's probably on tilt.
And then that
I don't
may
have
be
to respect
a
his.
chance
I don't have to respect his bets as much.
That may be rule 3, an opportunity where you can steal.
Yeah, or not steal. No, not steal against the tilter. Think about it.
Yeah, you need to steal against a really tight player.
Yeah, the tilter, he might have just lost all the plot.
Yeah.
He's not the one to
He's more likely to call you.
out of just pick because everything. Yeah, so think about that.
So that's where you can maximise.
Right, so you wouldn't want to be stealing against him.
No.
You'd be stealing against another one who they're very comfortable with how they're doing and they'd say, I don't want to get involved, and you could steal off them maybe.
Player.
Yeah. But this one you want to be getting paid against. Now him you could bet a few bigger ones because he's probably going to just call anyway now because he's lost the plot.
So you could get paid quite big
yes,
off him, yeah.
That's right. Okay, 2 pairs for Tony Corbett and 1 pair for Snap It. Tony Corbett there. 50 cents.
Puts in $2. No one else had anything there, so it's enough to take it down. Now there's King Queen James on the small blind.
Yep. He's just made it up. You'd like to see a jack?
Yes.
Queen 2, tragic bet. Oh, he's called. And he's found the jack. You'd like to see a jack and ping, there it comes.
You are Mystic James tonight, definitely.
Oh dear.
Can you tell me who's going to be evicted from Big Brother this weekend? Are England going to beat Trinidad and Tobago?
I'll tell you who's going to win Big Brother. Peter.
Yes, I think so. Oh, look at that. 2 big slicks.
Which one's favourite?
The one on the button.
Correct.
Hey, I'm learning.
You are.
Slowly but surely.
No, you're learning well. In fact, all the girls are doing really, really well. Huge improvement from everyone.
So Kamichi and Tragic Trev.
And Snapper's in there with the 5s. And we've got 2 who've hit the king. It'll be interesting to see how the betting goes here. There's $10 in the middle.
They're not really scared of a flush.
There's been check, and now Tragic Trev. Well, he's going to definitely bet, isn't he? Bet's $5, half the pot. Kamichi might be going to come over the top of him, I think. No? Just calls. Well, Snappett's going to have to leave. There's 3 overcards, and he does quite correctly say goodbye. Kamichi.
Checks again.
It's funny, they're both right. And he checks.
No, Tragic Trev's not quite sure, is he? It's not a scary board, though, is it? For
Well, there
the
was a
ace
flush
king?
draw on the turn there, and now Kamichi's gone all in. And I think Trev will call this. He does. Oh!
Yes,
Yeah,
they both
he does,
won,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, that was rather strange betting.
Do you think Trev would have bet on the turn there?
Grace has got to go.
She's very upset because she heard them shouting, "Get Grace out, get
Yeah.
Grace out." Little minx. Snapper would like a jack now.
And Lyndsay was telling me earlier she hasn't had a chance to watch Big Brother.
Not much.
Come out now, Lyndsay. You know everything.
Dipped in and out.
You know everything
I've
about
got
it.
to have it. I've been watching lots of the highlight programs, but I haven't been watching the live streaming. I'm not that sad, but but yes.
You seem to be well informed,
for someone
Lyndsay.
who
For someone who
says
doesn't watch
she
it,
doesn't
you're
watch it,
you're
I
very
don't-
well informed.
I've dropped myself in it a bit, haven't I?
Yeah. Lizard on the button, ace 5. And Johan with the kings. Let's watch this, Lyndsay. This is interesting. Oh, he's actually raised with it here. I was surprised. I thought Johan would do one of his slow plays there, but he thought maybe he's going to get called. He was hoping Lizard had something better than he had, actually, obviously. Pool 8. Does a minimum raise from the small blind. Trev calls, as does Lizard. And what's Pool going to do now? He's missed completely, but he bets 150. And it's a flat raise from Tragic Trev, who's hit the top pair, and Pool Ball calls. Now, what is he calling with? Because he can't like it, and what's going to happen next? Well, Tragic Trev's going to bet again. Oh, he doesn't again. Wow, what is going on, Trev? Well, Tragic Trev been rather cautious twice there. You must have been having some bad luck, I think, because you're looking to be treading very, very carefully. Email in, let me know if that's correct, because that's how it feels.
Yeah.
King Whip is going to get into trouble here. He's got the top pair with the top kicker, but Snap It has got American Airlines.
Hey, dude.
Oh, look at this, Lyndsay. King Whip's just re-raised Snap It. Snap It, click the all-in button. King Whip, called. Ouch.
He needs a king.
No good. Oh, it's not there. Yes, his king was the only escape, but it wasn't going to be.
No. Ouch, ouch, ouch. He didn't want to hit that king.
He,
It's one of those occasions where you think you get in, I've hit it, but it's actually the worst thing that can happen to you because you're up against something better. King Whip got whipped.
It's one of those things. He hit the top pair, didn't he? Hit that king. He hit the top pair. He had the top kicker. It looks like a dream
like
hand.
a cushy
but
situation.
what we have to remember there is, if somebody's still there,
what have they got?
yeah. No. First of all, let's suppose you've got the ace king. You've hit your top pair
Yeah.
with the kicker, and the betting's on there has been raised, and they're still there. They've re-raised. Right. What have you got to start with?
Well, I've got one pair. That's it.
That's it. And that is what you've got to remind yourself. At the end of the day,
Only a pair.
you've got one pair.
He could have
He
king.
could have trips, he could have two pair, he could have an over pair. There's a lot of situations. And when someone, especially like Snap It, who we know is a very solid player,
push all his
wants to
money in.
re-raise and eventually put all his chips in, you've really got to ask yourself the question, what has he got?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, in no limit hold'em, you've got to be able to make decisions. You've got to be able to put a hand down.
Yeah.
Because money you save in No Limit Hold'em is just as good and just as tasty as money that you win.
Yes.
And what you said, at the end, what did he have? He only had one pair.
Yeah.
And he could name a lot of hands which were beating him. But he didn't really want to think about it.
No, it's very easy to get attached to that one pair,
Yeah.
isn't it? Especially for...
He'd hit a great flop for his hand, but there was someone there, solid, who still wanted to play.
You have to keep... Why is
Why?
he there? Yes, a good lesson to be learned from watching that hand, actually. I've got an email from Matt, and Matt says, "Hi guys, can you tell me how important having a bankroll is?"
Very.
I think it would, significantly. I normally have a bankroll of 2,000 times the big blind, but every time I go on a bad run or take a massive bad beat, I tend to lose most of my bankroll trying to get it back. I only play micro stakes, 10 cents, 25-cent blinds, but is it still important to have a bankroll, or should I just keep a small amount in my account so I don't blow loads of cash?
Whew, I'll tell you what, just read that second paragraph there.
I normally have a bankroll of 2,000 times the big blind.
Stop. Fine, very good.
But every time I go on a bad run or take a massive bad beat...
Pause. Bad run, massive bad beat. It's going to happen in poker. You just got to expect it. You mustn't overreact to it.
Yeah. I tend to lose most of my bankroll trying to get it back.
And that is where it's all going wrong. It's nothing to do with bankroll. It's to do with your outlook on the game. It's to do with your feeling of urgency
Like
to get the money
chasing
back
it,
on
yeah.
that day. Listen, it's not for you to decide if it's going to be your day. We're playing a game in the long run, not in the short run. And the very, very worst thing you can do is to try and push and try and chase your money back on the one day.
Matt's trying to be Linford Christie, not Paula Radcliffe.
That's right. It's a terrible, terrible error. And it is the worst error poker players can get, is to chase after their money. What you've got to do is, every hand is a separate hand. Why we should have a big enough bankroll for the game is because if we lose a hand, we now look at the next hand. What should I do with this? How much shall I bet? I must keep the pot small. When you're chasing, all you want to do is to make the next pot big to try and get your money back. That's hopeless. That's not how you play a money game. Every hand in a money game should be just fresh decisions in relation to the size of your bankroll, in relation to the size of the money you've got in that game. But that is a big, big no-no what you're doing. And I can't stress that enough, and I have to stress that to everyone watching Poker Night Live. Never, ever chase your money. Don't be frightened to say you played a session and you lost. Be proud of when you say, I played a session, I got really bad cards, but actually I managed to keep my losses down to so much. And you should celebrate that just as much as a win. Very, very important.
I'm just going to get this email in as well before we take a break. It's a very nice email from Boggerbeast, who said, "I just want to say big thanks for all the wonderful advice you're giving out in the programmes. I had a very bad run about a month ago and decided to give poker a rest for a while and pursue other interests. But I've been watching the show all that time. From various conversations on the show and advice you've given out, I realised that I tended to chase pots with rag hands, playing too passively, limping in a lot and folding at the slightest re-raise. I got inspired to dip my toe in the water again this weekend, and I've played 8 $3 single table tourneys over the last couple of days, winning one, placing second, and coming third in the other, and out of the money in the other 3, with 2 of these on the bubble. It's not exactly high stakes, but it's comfortable for my bankroll, and I've had 110% profit on my buy-ins this weekend, which is great. I put this down to learning about playing mainly premium hands, using position and being more aggressive, provided I've had the hand to back it up to build a table image." And it says, "You're all doing a great job. Keep up the good work." What a nice email from Bob.
Yeah, very much. I'm glad to hear of your recovery, Bogbeast, and your success. That's certainly a very good record there.
Yes,
so
thanks
keep it going
for the
and
email.
Keep us in
well
touch.
Done. Okay, we've got to take a short break now. We've got loads more coming up, so don't go anywhere, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Hi, and welcome back to Poker Night Live. In fact, Poker Night very, very live, because sat next to me is Lyndsay, and she's just playing at this moment.
In the middle of a game, as we speak.
Can't get liver than that. Anyway, I'm James Browning, this is Lyndsay Horne, and this is Poker Night Live. Now, if you want to contact us, please do. And the best way to do this is to text us at 84222. Put in the word poker and your question. Or email us at poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. We've also got a fabulous forum where you can find at www.pokernightlive.co.uk. And you can find the forum there, or in fact, if your telly breaks down, you could even watch us on there by clicking Watch TV. But you don't need to go there at the moment. Anyway, let us have a look now at a $10 sit and go. Through the matrix, and here we are, we've landed. It's a short version, 1,000 chips to start with, blinds going up every 10 hands, and we're at the first level, 10-20. And we've got King Whip, Alan M, Camstar, Harley, Crespo, could be top scorer, Charwell, Garboy, and Sharky. Do you like Crespo, Lyndsay?
Well, yeah, I'm not really a Chelsea fan.
Well, no, forget about that. I mean, internationally, you think he's a good player?
Yeah, no, I think he's, yeah, not bad, not bad. Better than Drogba.
Camstar, Ace Queen suited. Oh, look at that. I don't like that. Far too big a bet. The blinds are only 10-20 and he's put in 160 with Ace Queen. Well done, you've won 30 and you're going to walk into trouble against a hand which is better than yours. Not good. This time you just limp with Ace Jack, which is probably just as well because there's a pair of queens sitting on the big blind. Crespo nods one in there with a pair of twos.
Oh, the analogies just started them off again.
The queens on the big blind. Alan M makes it 100. Now that's a fair size bet because there's 4 other people in the pot. Camstar calls with Ace Jack. I don't like that much. Pair of twos. Prefer that in a way because if you click a 2 you can do a lot of damage. But the queens must be singing. But of course it's not without danger because Camstar's got the Jack, which gives him an up and down straight. The trip queens bets. Camstar calls. And the queens now, there's a pot of 660. There's a flush draw out there as well. It would have been a backdoor flush draw for someone. And Alan's also got the Queen of Hearts in his hand as well. Bets 160. I think that's too small. He's almost given him odds to call for the Jack there. And that can't be correct. He has to give him the wrong odds to call for a middle pin. Okay, it was probably the wrong, but he could have priced him a bit more, I think. Never mind. He's got some more money out of it. Well done, Alan M. This is a tournament though, and I would actually have made the bet a bit bigger there because you do only have the 1 life, and if they are going to out you, you've really got to charge them for it. Sharky, King 10. But that was a problem there. Alan M's called a raise with Ace Jack. It's not a great hand to call raises with. You know, this is like basically Slansky's gap theory. You know, you need a better hand to call with than you do to raise with. And the Ace Jack's not great. In the end, he ended up in a drawing situation. Well, in a tournament, you don't really want to be on the wrong end of it, just drawing. Far better to be an aggressor, a better, rather than someone just calling. Camstar is the aggressor here, and he's asked a question. It's a re-raise against Alan. And Charwell, Ace 9.
Lots of interest in why you buy these poker condoms you were talking about, James.
Oh, right. Well, I'm not a supplier. But it's an American product. But I will dig up the details for you. We've just had a poker pizza delivered. I presume the P's on it for
Service
poker.
with a smile.
Harley has got the top pair, but Charwell has got the top and bottom pair, aces and nines. And he's put in 3 times the raise, i.e. Harley made it 80 and Charles made it 240. And I think Harley can easily put this down. Does not want to contend this. Oh, and that is a shocking call. Really, with ace 2, there's so many hands out there which are better than you. It's hard to count them. And now there's 13-20 in the pot, and now you're going to be tempted to call this as well, baby. And you are. And you've had a good escape. You've ended up with a miracle. A king came on the river, which gave it a split pot. Aces and kings with a 9. What an escape. But just because you escaped doesn't mean to say your play was good, because in the long run there you're really going to lose that a lot of times. Anyway, well done for escaping, but don't fall in love with an ace 2. Camstar makes it 120 from the button with ace 8 off suit. Garboy, jack 10, no. Sharky says no, and quite nice there. Camstar scoops up a few 20s and a 10. King whip 5 times the big blind. These raises are pretty big here, but I think they're a little bit out of proportion myself.
Yeah, king whip's in the chat box in my game. So hello, king whip.
The problem is with making it 100 with something like ace 7 is it's quite a percentage of your chips. And now, when you find out that you're at the wrong end of this situation, you're leaving too many chips behind. You could have asked the same question for less money. And now you've followed up with a bet of 120, and now you're going to feel the wrath of Harley. And there we go. He's made it 480, and now you've had to leave 220 chips behind, which when you only start with 1,000 is a lot of chips. So you could have asked the same question, you could have played the same hand, but you could have contained the price of it all. You could have probably saved yourself at least 120 chips on the whole hand. The money saved is the same is just as good as money won. So email in with your comments, King Whip. We'll be happy to read them out. Garboy, another big raise. Oops. King Whip makes it 80 with a pair of 8s. A little Freudian slip there. 8 for the 8s. And Crespo has got American Airlines and trickily just calls. There could be trouble ahead. Sharky calls with ace-6. Whoa. Loose call. 10 queen 7. He checks it. King Whip bets 80 into a... And he's now actually got a middle pin straight draw or an 8. But Crespo's sitting there with the aces. Now King Whip slows it down with a 40. What's Crespo going to do? There's 2 clubs out there. There's a possible straight draw. Yes, he's done a re-raise, made it 320 and takes it down. Camstar limps with 5-2 suited. Harley, Jack 10 offsuit limps. Crespo, minimum raise with Queen King suited. Sharky calls, seems to be calling a lot. King Whip calls the raise, and up down to Jack 10, bound to call now. Anyone got a king? Yep, Crespo's got the king. He's hitting quite a few cards at the moment, Crespo. Fresh from his success with the aces, he's back there with top pair again. And the Jack from King Whip is bet second pair with Jack 7, called by Harley, who's beating him with Jack 10, but raised by Crespo with the Queen King, who's got the top pair, and King Whip's called that raise. It's a bit loose. What happens next? Obviously dreaming of hitting another jack or a 7. Well, we can see another jack wouldn't have helped him. And Harley's taken off here. He's just still got the third pair now. But he needs a queen to make a straight. And he's bet 400. And he's representing, he's got the ace, but Crespo does not believe him and calls. Now, what's Harley going to do now? Is he going to try again? No, he doesn't. He checks. Crespo checks just in case. And it would have been interesting to see what would happen if Harley had fired 2 bullets there, but presumably Crespo, when he called the first time, was prepared to call the second. Harley there now with ace-queen, needs to get some chips again now. What we're going to see, the blinds are up to 20-40. Again an over-raise. I don't like this. He's made it 6 times the big blind. He needs to play a pot. He doesn't need to win the 60 here. And ace-queen's a pretty good hand. Okay, we can see that there's a hand after him. And he's now raised to 440. Well, the only thing is that because he's made it 240 and someone's raised him, it's shouting out to him that he's got a massive hand. And you could have actually passed it because of that. That was the actual 1 plus point of your overbet, was if anyone raised it, they were likely to have a monster. But you didn't listen there. And now you've bet out, and now unless you find an ace or a queen, you're going to be in big trouble. And that's a 9, and that's a 4. You don't have 2 clubs, and Sharky with the Cowboys, King Kong has won that one. And that was disappointing because you didn't really, you had put in that massive pre-flop raise and received an over raise, a big one, and surely that cried out of a monster hand. I know it's tough to put these down and sit and go, but I think in these early stages you have a chance to be able to choose where you are or what hand you're going to be playing. And you still should be able to get away from some hands, but basically, because you bet so big, I think you were reluctant to let it go. So therefore that's why your initial raise could have been less, and then if someone wants to come over the top, then you can put it down. King Whip makes it 3 times a big blind. That's more in proportion. Pair of 9s in the cut-off position.
Goodness me, there's a lot of debate going on here, James, about a particular hand that's being played. So it's something that we can bring up later. There's 2 completely differing opinions
one in your
about
game?
about what the right thing to do was in this situation, and they both think they're right. So it's going to be a really good hand to watch and get your opinion on what you think was the right thing to do in that situation.
I'm looking forward to that. Who are the 2 people?
It's Double Top and Balrog who are discussing it.
So 2 of the regulars, so it'll be interesting to hear their different
and it was
views.
a hand I was involved with. It was actually a play I made that they're debating. One thinks I was right and the other thinks I was wrong.
Well, I will tell you the truth, Lyndsay.
Well, we'll find out later. It'll be something good to discuss.
I won't
Judge James.
I won't be biased, I'm afraid. I'll just have to tell you it as I see it.
Yeah, no, that's what we want. But
okay.
But now they're saying, that's how we learn, by disagreeing and debating.
Oh no, it's great.
Good.
Listen, I'm not against that at all. I love it when people get involved in their hands.
Yeah.
And when we all discuss these things, it's brilliant because it makes us think more about it all, and it just really stretches our poker minds. So it's good.
And these guys aren't even actually playing in the game, they're just observing, which is even better.
That shows what a great poker community we've got here at Poker Night Live. Fantastic. I don't believe that any poker program in the world has such a community as we have, that's for sure. And as a token, I think I'm going to ask the directors if they could send you all poker condoms. For your home games.
Lyndsay, can you do a loud bark for the Musker hounds?
Go on.
I'll say hello, I'm not barking.
Go on, do one bark.
Right, that's enough then.
Okay, Muskie, you pesky Robert.
Oh, goodness. This is getting surreal. Now meow for the cat. So right now, stop now. Enough with the animals. You'll be having me grunting like a pig in a minute.
Perhaps we better have Rebecca Lewis on the show.
No. That was a totally different topic. Lyndsay is now officially a hound, apparently. Excellent.
Charwell, 9-6.
Lyndsay, please get James to do Top Cat. I love to basically get him to do it, like, you know, that I can make you.
Do you remember Top Cat, Lyndsay?
I do, actually, yeah, I do.
Officer Dibble.
Yes.
Hey, TC, have you been using my phone?
Officer Dibble, battery dog, come on, now, Sally, can't use your phone really like a mother to be Officer Dibble. Alright, you guys, you Sally, nice and clean, very Officer Dibble. We'll get it clean. What do you think of that then, Benny? Okay, TC.
Excellent! James, I love it. We love it.
Camstar with an A7. Big raise again, all in from Camstar. Blind still only 20-40 here. He's put 540 in here. Smacks of desperation, but it looks like he's going to get away with it. Yep, and he captures 60. Thing is, he's still got play there even with 540 because the blinds are 20-40, so the rounds are costing him 60. He still had a bit of play there. He didn't have to quite go the resort straight away to that all-in move there. King 5-3, so we've got middle pin straight draw for Crespo. And Alan has actually got the highest cards and is winning at the moment. No help to either. Alan bets 40. And again, no help. Oh, and another little nibbly 40 bet. Oh, and Crespo says, no, I've had enough of that. I'm not paying you another 40. And you were right, Cress. Camstar, Kojak, and he's hit the king. Bets 40 into an 80 pot. Bye-bye, Cress, and he captures it. Well, slowly clawing his way back into the game. He's calmed down a bit now, I'm glad to see. Blinds are now 40-80, so now we have to monitor this to see exactly how our play is being affected. How the blinds are in relation to our chip stack, our stack size. And Alan in the cutoff, we might see something from him here. He's got quite a lot of chips. He could afford to make a little move. He just decided to limp. Well, of course, oh, and we've got Camstar limping as well. This is interesting. Crespo's probably going to make it up now, and that's right, because he could hit a funny flop, but he hasn't. Anyone got a 10? Unfortunately not. No one's even got a 3. So actually no one has got a pair. And it's getting round to Camstar, but he's against 3 people is the problem here, so he might be reluctant to do anything. Now how does that jack alter things? Well, it actually gives Camstar an up and down straight. 9-10 jack queen. Alan is still winning by virtue of having the ace. But he checks. Now Camstar really could put a bet in there now. I think because we'd seen such weakness, I think he could definitely have put a bet in there. It would be a semi-bluff, and I think it had a good chance of winning. As it happens, we can see that he's well, he's hit the 9 now, and he'll call that. He's actually ended up getting paid an extra 80. As long as Charwell doesn't do anything, and he has. But that's not the point. I think he's actually missed an opportunity there. The way that betting pattern went, he now picked up a semi-bluff situation, an up and down straight. I know it was a dangerous board. I know there was a pair out there, but it didn't feel like there was any strength by the way the people were betting or not betting. And I think he should have actually asked a question and put a bet out. It wouldn't have had to be so big because they might be thinking that he'd actually got a 10. As it happens, he had got an escape route if he was called, and he could actually still make that straight. So that was an opportunity missed as far as I'm concerned. And those are the sort of opportunities we've got to be looking for when we're playing poker. We've got to be on our toes, concentrating, watching the betting patterns, so we can take advantage of the situation. You still haven't lost anyone in your game, Lynn?
Not yet. It's
Wow.
so tight. Blinds are 81-60 and no one's gone yet.
Charwell. Oh, look at this. We've got problems here. We've got Alan's got a pair of jacks, middle position. What's he going to do with this? Because he is the one who sometimes put in some big raises. We could see a big raise here, and then he's going to be in trouble. Let's have a look. Well, not too bad this time, thank goodness for him. He's made it 240, and there's Charwell. He's only got 750, so if he put, but he's just called it. Now there's a pair of kings on the flop, and I would think Alan probably thinks that's not too bad. And he puts 160 in, just called by the aces. But he's left himself 340. It looks a bit smelly there. And Alan's now bet again. Charles just called. He's still got 110 left. And so Alan's bet, and Charles got it with the aces against jacks. So Alan paid him completely off.
James Up Your Ante wants to know, what's a good book for people that already play but want to advance?
Well, on tournament poker, obviously you should get the 2 volumes, in fact soon to be 3 volumes, by Dan Harrington and Bill Roberti. It's a book on tournament poker, on no-limit poker, and there's lots there in those books to get you thinking, and they take quite a bit of work to go through them, and they probably need to be read about 5 times. And so that'll certainly help you to progress. And I'm certainly looking forward to his 3rd volume. He's definitely been helped by Bill Roberti, who I know quite well. I used to play backgammon with him many moons ago.
Yeah.
And Bill Roberti was a twice world champion at backgammon. I played quite a few times in America, and he actually wrote some great backgammon literature, and I can see that he's got his fingerprint on the Harrington book, because the way that they've mapped out positions and table situations is very much how Roberti used to display his backgammon books, and so I think Harrington and Roberti together make a good duo. Roberti was also a top chess player, as was Dan Harrington. And of course Dan Harrington's had amazing results. He's been in the World Series final, I think it's about 4 times.
There you go. They're very grateful.
Are they been good or bad on the chat box tonight?
No, they've been good. A little bit cheeky, but I'm used to it now.
Crespo raises to 160. And Charwell contemplating. Carboy. 6-7, and we've got 2 6-7s. 7-6 and 6-7. Now they're going to play. Campstar there, small blind. He lets that go, and I don't blame him. That 40 might be more useful to him betting. And I think we can see a bet here with Campstar. Use that 40 for a bet rather than that calling the small blind. Let's see it. Maybe a bet of 200 for 240 or... Oops, it's slightly over-betted again. That's amazingly too big because look, he's left himself 320. It's virtually committing himself to the pot. It's still only 40-80. If it was up to the next level, then I would sympathise with it, but it's still slightly over-betting this level. King Whip makes it 240. Well, Campstar calls, and Garboy's got a pair of jacks. What's he thinking? There's been a raise to 240. Some Crespo's called it, and he's got a pair of jacks. He said, I was thinking of doing something with this myself. Anyway, he's just called. Oh, and it's a low flop, so Garboy's going to quite like this. He might actually just push all his chips in. No, he's checked to see what's happening. King Whip, he's not going to check. He's actually bet virtually all Gar's money. Crespo's disappeared. He hasn't hit an ace or 10. Gar calls. He's only got 80 left. Another low card. He might be thinking he's got a chance. But no. The Queens beats the Jacks. And Garboy is on a life support machine now, I'm afraid. 40 in the small blind and 40 in his pocket. And King Whip's raised to 240. It looks bleak, and it is bleak. He's got ace-10 against ace-queen. He needs a 10. Is there a 10? I don't think so. No, there's not. It didn't feel like it. Felt dead. And now poor old Garboy's passed away. Hard lines, Garboy. Jacks against queens. Often the hands, when two hands are very close to each other, this is often where we get a big pot. It's when it's like a photo finish situation. Both players feel that they should be in there. And jacks against queens is about as close as it gets. Well, we're down to 6 players here. This is a short structure, but it's lasting quite a while.
Yeah, mine is too. Still just one person gone.
Sharky, ace-jack. It's down to 680. Now it's 81.60. I actually now think he should push. Now that is the time to push. So full agreement there. And looks like you get the blinds. Of course, those blinds are very significant now. It increases his, if he wins, it increases his stack by 35%. Fantastic. Alan M says no. And oh, he's now captured another one and he's broken the 1,000 barrier. Nice time to get a walk. Blind's now 163.20 and this is where it's very, very expensive. Crespo just calls with 10 jack and This creates a pot of 800 because there's a small blind of 160 in there, and there's 2 320s. Flops 2, 8, 3. Cunningly missed both players. Well, not such a surprise because they've both got jacks. Of course, Crespo's dominating here by virtue of the fact that he's got a 10 rather than a 5. But there's a ray of hope for Alan. There's another spade landed on the turn, which gives him a flush draw. But Crespo said, there might be a flush draw, I'm going to charge you money. Do you want to play? He's put 320 in. And Alan, contemplating, decides better of it and passes. Charwell, middle position, king queen, puts its passes. Sharky, pass. Alan M. And Campstar takes a walk, 480. Whoa, Crespo's found a big one. It's big slick. Suited. Campstar, no contest. And he takes the 480. And they're passing the chips round here. We'll keep on passing them, says Charwell. I don't mind. I'd like them this time. But I don't think they're going to be passed. I think Campstar's going to fight. And it could be... Oh, no, he doesn't. He passes. Well, I would have been tempted with 920. Blinds 163.20. I think Campstar missed an opportunity there. Crespo, Jack 7. Charwell, no connection there. And there's another queen there. Now, is someone going to get chirpy? Decides against it. And Crespo takes that one with the jack. Well, Charwell's really under pressure now. And now anyone making the steal has got to think that Charwell is quite likely to be calling, because he's only got 460 left and he's already got 160 in the middle. So probably one's fold equity there is less than normal. But however, Campstar's got quite a reasonable hand in the 6-seater, and as it happens, Charwell passes. He only had queen deuce. Of course, we were pretending there we didn't know what our opponent had. And Charwell puts that one down. Now, I would have, with 460, I think I would have pushed with the king 9 there. I would have been in trouble. I'd have been against the queen. So Charwell must have known something. Well, he'll go now. He's got a pair of 8s, and there it is. He's found the pair. He's pushed in 460. Sharky's raised. He wants to make it heads up. That's an interesting problem there for King Whip, because Sharky's pressured King Whip, who would like to sort of take on Charwell probably with his ace 10. But how does he read this raise from Sharky? Looks like he's going to put it down. And that makes Sharky's raise there a very good play, because he's actually frightened out the best hand at the moment. But we can see it's another ace gone, so of course Sharky's got less chance than normal. Now he's got virtually no chance because it's trip 8s, and yep, this one's all over. It's Charwell bang back in the game there with 1,400 chips. Very good. Charwell push with the ace, and look at this, he's just taken, and that was a good time. Now he's really showed a bit of aggression there. People thinking, oh, he just got out of trouble, he must have a real hand now. He had a bit of a hand, but got well rewarded. And now the blind's up again, 320, 640. And Crespo's got the ace. And it's getting quite wild here now because the blinds are very, very big. Each round costing you 960. King Whip has made it 1,100 with ace 5. Oh, and he's got up and down straight. But look at Sharky. He's flopped the straight. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who can believe it? Wow. What a flop when you've got 2, 5 offsuit.
I'm back, James.
That's not good.
Why not?
Well, it might be good. You might
Could
have
be.
killed them off all quickly.
Could be. There was lots into the end. It could have just been... It could have just gone down like dominoes
You
at
could
the
do
end.
a triple knockout.
You never know. You never know. You find out after midnight.
It's like sort of waiting for your presents at Christmas.
I don't know about...
Regardless of the results, have you got any gut feelings on your performance?
Yes. I've played better.
You have played better?
Yes, a lot better.
All right. Oh.
But I think I'm going to give you plenty of points for discussion.
All right. Was this deliberate?
Yes, you see, I wanted to help people with constructive debate.
Oh,
so I
right.
had to create...
I'm looking
lots
forward to
of-
this one, which was coming up as a topic.
Yes, I've got it. Yeah, one particular
You
hand.
remember when it was?
Yeah,
We've got
I can't, yeah.
who said what?
Yeah, I know who it
Good.
was.
Oh, and look at that. We've got a top straight there for King Whip. Ace, King, Queen, Jack 10. He didn't really need it. He was only up against a 3-4. But nice to get Broadway. Well, King Whip's really changed gear now, but oops, he's walked into something here, Ace 10, but he's not in a horrible situation. He's underdog, but he's got the two middle cards there, so he'll be hovering round about the 44% or whatever. 7-2-2. Well, Sharky's all in here as well, but look at that, of course he's got a queen. King Whip's bet 640, you can't get rid of Crespo. 7-2-2-7. And I think, oh, and there's the 10. So now Crespo for sure thinks he's won it, and he has. And look at that. It's a double knockout. 2 for the price of 1, Crespo. You must be feeling good. There we are. We had Sharky all in with Queen 8. King Whip eventually got all his money in with Queen Jack. And Crespo had Ace 10. Was winning even just for virtue of the ace, but hit the 10. And what's happening here?
Oh,
And that's it.
pair of eights takes it.
Pair of eights takes it. And we have a
Right.
winner. Crespo suddenly, in just 2 hands,
The
knocked out
look of
3.
Chelsea. They win everything. They should spread the joy.
He said he knocked out 3 people in 2 hands. Very impressive. Well, I quite enjoyed that. The comments I was making early on, though, I really think that you were betting out of proportion early on. You were not betting in proportion to the size of blinds. You were losing more on certain hands than you needed to. You were not controlling the size of the pots. And I believe that a good player tries to control the size of the pots because it will give him more chance. He gives himself, even if he's going to get unlucky, he's gives himself a bit more chance. He can get unlucky a few more times because he's controlling the size of the pot. That's the idea of it. He's going to make it harder for people to get the chips off him. That's going to frustrate his opponents. But there I thought we were just making it a bit too brutal early on. And as you know, when I say any get-rich-quick scheme is generally not correct.
There you go. We were talking about poker condoms. Sorry to keep
Oh,
on
right, this is
you
it.
know,
I've
we were
picked on a
saying-
good subject here, I
Yeah,
think.
you know what we were saying, is that the most random poker product
right,
that you've
yeah.
ever heard of? Well, Helen sent an email in, and Helen says, I heard the request for poker-related items, and remember that I had come across faith chips. These are poker chips with inspiring Jesus loves you messages and quotes from the Bible, such as, Jesus went all in for you, and don't gamble with eternity, Mark 8:36. Surely these are a much classier poker product than James's poker. I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Prophylactics. It's a posh way of saying condoms.
Right, okay.
Well, you've learned something tonight,
Yeah.
Lyndsay, anyway.
I have. So there you go. If you
Don't you have to talk about prophylactics on the travel programme?
No. You see, the place I was brought up, they're called rubbers. That's it. If you've seen any more random poker products, then get in touch. This 84222 is the text number, or you can email poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Jay says, hi, I'm Jay, and I do pretty well at sit and goes, but when it comes to multi-tables, I just lose all the time. Any advice? P.S. Lyndsay, you're looking good tonight, and anytime you're in the Northwest, give me a shout and we will have a game of poker. Well, you never know. I used to live in the Northwest for 4 years in Manchester.
Yes, you were on... That's where you were doing your breakfast show, wasn't it?
Yes.
Ah. What time do you have to get up for that?
4 in the morning.
Oh, my
Started at
goodness.
6. There you go.
So
Early
the
start.
question was...
I do pretty well in sitting goals. When it comes to MTTs, I just lose all the time. It's a pretty general question.
Right, I think probably what's happening is that the pace of a sit and go is different to an MTT. If you're playing in quite a big entry MTT, you've somehow got to try and survive and get yourself through all this big field of players. So basically, you're going to have quite a bit more play because the blind structure will give you more play in the early stages of that tournament. So therefore, in the early stages, you will have time to be more selective. And therefore, you're looking basically somewhere along the line, you can play more pots. You're looking somewhere along the line, hopefully be able to double up, which then will keep you nicely in pace with the average stacks as you go along. But I would imagine if you've just been playing single table tournaments, you've been playing the multi-table tournaments too fast and you've been overrating some of your hands. In the early stages of those multi-table tournaments, a lot of people go crazy. In fact, you should play very solidly. There'll be so many players, they won't even know who you are or what your style is, and you should be there waiting to capture the people who want to overplay one pair and get paid off from them, probably get doubled up by them. So I would slow down dramatically in those multi-table tournaments in the early stages. Later, as I mentioned before, then we can change gear, and especially when we're heading towards the final table, we can really change gear and start to become very aggressive, and then be the contrarian and take advantage of the people who are being rather passive. I hope that helps.
Okay, well, we're going to actually go to the MTT now. So you've just been watching the sit and go, so we can maybe have a look at the MTT and see if we can point out a few more things as we're watching it.
Okay.
But thank you for your email, Jay. If you've got any questions for James, you can text us 84222 or you can email pokernightlive.co.uk.
Right, we're down to 17 players.
Oh.
And I'm actually going to try and find out what the total number of chips in the tournament is.
Oh. I just lost another one. Welsh Demon. So we just move to another table there.
Yep, we switched to see who else is in the tournament here. We've got, see Gaza Louis there, Buffy Be Good, Morrison, Idolize, Anfield James and Mr. Perfect. Know them all. Kojak 9, 8, Ace Queen there, pair of sixes is going to take that one. No Ace or Queen, and bye-bye Buffy Be Good.
Yep, the pair held up.
Cat's Eyes. Blinds are 300, 600 here. Cat's Eyes just called, and he's ended up with position. Quite nice.
Yeah.
6, 9, 10. Now he's got position. It's been a check. He's put in a bet.
Yeah,
And look at that.
Had to fold.
Look at that. Now what did he do in that
He
pot?
used the position.
Yeah. And what else did he do?
He made a bet to find out where he was. He asked the question.
How did he enter the pot? He just limped.
Yeah.
600. So he actually controlled the size of the pot.
Yeah.
But once he got position, he captured position actually just by limping in.
Yes.
Now once he's captured position, he's now got information from his opponent who's checked. He's now put in a bet. Was it a big one?
No, just 600.
600?
Yeah, the size of the
So
big
he
blind.
controlled the whole size of that pot. So his risk was really so small.
Yes.
And his reward was brilliant.
Yep.
in relation to his risk-reward ratio was perfect.
Just a perfect
so that
example
is a really,
of how he controlled the
and he had chips.
situation.
And because he had chips, the person was wary of him anyway.
Yes.
But he didn't go crazy with his chips. And so that made it very difficult for someone. If he walked into someone with a real hand there, he was not going to lose big chips. But that was a good example of just controlling the size of pots. Don't just go potty when you suddenly get a stack of chips.
Yeah, because he would have only lost 600 because of then the re-raise had
exactly.
the raise
You get away from
in.
it easy enough.
Yeah.
But if not, or maybe it's a small raise, you can call and have a look at one more card. But he's still not paying any more than if he'd raised
damaging
initially.
his stack.
And he's obviously read the table that it's probably not too many people are coming in anyway, and so he just did a nice little variation of play there. Morrison's got a pair of jacks in the cut-off, so it'll be interesting to see what he does. Idolize, and that's a massive bet from Anfield James there. But the blinds are 300, 600, so each round's costing 900. So to tell the truth, I can sympathise with him. Oh, he's got lucky. Oh my goodness. He was miles behind. King Jack against a pair of jacks was pretty poor shape.
Yeah.
It was about a 30% chance, but in the end he made it look easy as he ended up with trip jacks. Trip kings rather.
Trip kings, yeah.
Three wise men.
Very lucky Anfield James there.
But not too bad though, because his chip situation was such that each round was going to cost him 900.
Yes.
So that he had less than 5 rounds of play.
Right.
And therefore, 2 big cards suited. I don't mind that play.
Yeah.
He's unlucky that he walked into a hand. There was a good chance he was going to capture 900 chips,
Yes.
which to him was a significant increase in his stack. If it goes wrong, he can get lucky, which he did do. He's got lucky. He's doubled up. And now he's in the game. But what he has to do now is he has to stop, look at reassess his situation, and he doesn't have to suddenly go all in anymore. He can go back to doing a normal raise.
Yeah.
So you've got to monitor your situation because it'll keep on changing all the time.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. This email's actually not really poker related, but I'm going to read it out anyway. It's from David, a very patriotic man, David, who says, James, I've heard you say before that you made a living from sports betting. I am only a wannabe poker player, but I was wondering, do you think the 14-1 that I took on England to lose their next match was good value? Any thoughts? Well, first of all, I'll give you my thoughts. Shame on you for backing us to lose. Do you know what that is? That's called a Judas bet. Terrible. James, your thoughts?
Well, so actually, to tell the truth, I still do some sports betting. It's always been combined with, I've always been a games player, though, backgammon, blackjack, poker, etc. I'm not actually going to be good into doing sports tips on here, though, because I don't think that's going to be right. So
no.
I'll make the odd comments, but that's it. So I'm not going to actually make comments on specific bets.
And let's hope that you don't win. Right, Phil says, quick question. I was at the casino tonight. I'm very used to the setup. However, a big change was that I saw one person not cutting the deck at the table. Instead, he simply tapped the top of it as if to indicate to just deal the shuffled deck without a cut. This was done a few times, and I wasn't too bothered as I trust the players not to be cheating there. But what are the official rules on cutting the deck? I'd imagine it's something that must be done, as otherwise a good shuffler could simply fiddle the deck to his requirements. Should I have told the person to cut the deck, or is it not such a big deal?
You definitely should have insisted that the deck was cut, because this is an old style thing. It's terrible. Now this person might not have been doing anything wrong, but what it does, it opens the door for someone else who might do something wrong. And if they know the deck doesn't have to be cut properly, then life's much easier for them, because all they have to know is they'll know what the top card is to have some information. No, the deck must be cut, and it must be cut a minimum of so many cards. You can't just cut one card. I think it's going to be cut a minimum of 5 cards. So yes, it definitely must be cut. And if you see it not being done, you should really insist, and also tell the organisers, because it's very important. We've got to protect the integrity of the game. Okay,
thanks for your email, Phil. We've got to take another short break now, but we will be back very soon when we'll be watching the Beat the Presenter games. See you then. Welcome back to Poker Night Live. I'm Lyndsay, joined tonight by James Browning. We're here till 2.
Yes.
Had a
we're
good night
raring
so
to
far.
go.
We are. Lots of emails and texts. We want more from you. If you've got any questions or comments, then please do send them through to us. Our text number is 84222. Put the word poker at the start of your message, 84222. Or you can email. And there's how you do it. It's poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. So get them coming through. We'll get some more of those a bit later on. But I think we're going to head straight over to the Beat the Presenter game, James. I've got a feeling you're not going to be very pleased with me tonight.
Oh. Also, if you can tell us on an email, what food do you think Lyndsay had in the break? Was it A, pizza, B, pasta and salad, or C, just a mixture of fruit salad? Or all
Finish, of
three?
course.
Or was it all three?
Stop getting me into trouble.
I'm not getting. It might be getting into trouble. It might be. We're not giving away the answer. Do you need a napkin for your fingers?
Yeah, that's really sticky, that fruit, James. Really sticky.
Lyndsay Horne. She's got Queen 3. This has just started. It's Beat the Presenter. How do you say his name? Pair of nines.
No.
What's it mean?
No.
Nos.
Oh,
Piss.
do you know what?
Nos.
I don't actually know. how to-
Misramo. Nos Misramo. It's probably something famous. Anyone in the gallery know what this means? What's his name on the pair of nines? What's it mean?
No.
Oh yeah, we could go backwards. Yeah, look, home. Homer Simpson. Yes. Homer Simpson backwards.
We cracked the code.
Very good. Homer Simpson backwards. Well, that's a good start.
There you go.
You've got to be able to read the situation when you play poker, you know.
Now, up here, Auntie says we have to point out about how many bad cards he had.
Who did?
Up your Auntie. Kept complaining about it. Let's see if it was as bad as he thought.
Chelsea just calls with King Queen. Garboy says no, as does Lyndsay. Homer Simpson.
What are you going to do?
Oh, he raises.
Don't.
And he's hit the 10. That's 20. King, Queen. I hate this. Just calling with overcards is just... You don't know where you are. You could already be against a King 10 or a Queen 10. You might only have 3 outs. You don't know.
Yeah.
You could be into a bigger pair where you're already into pair. It's just... now he's actually walked into a straight, and actually he's just bet a little bit cheap there. Now Homer knows exactly where he is now. Oh, he didn't believe the flush. Got his trip 10s. And checks it. I think he's leaving the door open for DVN to maybe try and bluff. Or he might be thinking just in case he's got the flush. I think he's leaving the door open for him, and he's going to snaffle that up. Yes, he does.
There it is.
And he left the door open for the bluff. Went like clockwork there.
Yeah.
And not the way that James would advise the King-Queen to be played.
No.
Because it wouldn't have been there after the raise anyway, and it would have saved all that money.
Yes.
And then I don't just like calling with it there, and then you end up getting into a little bit of a draw, but you don't want to be in drawing situations. You want to be the in the driving seat in these games, not the one just calling. Chelsea's found a reasonable hand, pair of queens, nice little raise there. Flat raise, trying to get a bit of action with a good hand, which is good. H2O Stephen, nothing to think about, I don't believe. Poor Lyndsay there with a measly...
I've got a monster. Apparently that's Garrow or Garu. We're pronouncing his name wrong.
This 5-2 is apparently known as the Lear, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, it's her chest size, I think.
No.
Up your ante. It is a poker ante, by the way, as we can see.
Yes. He's got a flush draw, fortunately. Chelsea has the better flush draw.
With the ladies.
Anne has the pair, yeah.
And no one has given the indication they've got an ace, and so Chelsea bet there, had to find out where the queens were, and found out they'd won. Lyndsay 10-7 suited. Garboy, King-Jack, Kojak. Could limp in with this, I wouldn't mind that.
We have to call him Garrow.
Garrow?
Garrow, yeah.
Is he Welsh?
He was protesting strongly in the chat box.
Okay. Is he Welsh?
I don't know, actually.
Garrow?
Yeah, he said G-A-R-O.
Okay.
Oh,
Garrow boy. What could be boyo?
could be, could be.
Well, there's lovely for you. Pair of fours, just limps. Up your ante, you could just pop your limp in there.
Yes.
If you put a little flat raise in, that's fine. Kept the pot small, finds out where he is. Chelsea. Can he be tempted? Yes. DVN, can he be tempted? I would imagine so. And no one's hit the flop, so Auntie's winning at the minute with a pair of eights.
Scary
But
flop.
Chelsea has actually got a flush draw, as we can see, and bets out. Oh, and wins it,
Yeah.
representing the.
Well,
actually,
any one of those
representing they got one of the
overcards.
overcards basically, but actually had the. It was a semi-bluff situation,
Yeah.
betting with a flush draw. Ace Jack on the button makes it 80. I would have preferred 60. It says the same thing and controls the size of the pot better. All these 20s that we save are very significant when you only start off with 1,000 chips.
Yes. Yeah, the sharp disappear, don't they?
They do.
RNC puts in the little 20. I thought when I was playing this that H2O Stephen was multi-tabling because it was every time when you're waiting for a decision and the clock's ticking down and you're waiting to see what he's going to do.
So were you shouting or not?
No, but
You were starting to niggle you a bit. Or not?
not really. You know, you
Does
just
it
want.
bother you if someone's a bit slow though all the time? Tell the truth.
Yeah, it does a bit. I'm quite an impatient person.
So it does bother you a bit.
Yeah, if you're
Will
gonna.
you ever comment on it?
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't say
anything in
hurry
the
up?
chat box. No.
You won't go zzz,
No.
the Zs?
No.
Or does that annoy you when people do the Zs?
No,
No.
I just wouldn't comment on it. It would just sort of slightly irritate me. I would
Right.
just think if you're going to fold it, just fold it.
Right.
I like it to keep moving nice and smoothly. I don't mind if someone's actually really thinking about what they're doing or they're trying to make it look like that it's a hard decision for them or that, but when you can tell that someone just isn't watching, that's more frustrating.
Well, that's frustrating. You've got Queen 4 suited. Not very nice.
No.
Jack 9's just come in. Homer there with Jack 9 off suit. And RNC is just limped in. Taking advantage of this first level. But this is okay, that's fine.
I was hoping for a free look there.
Seven, 10 Queen. So an up and down straight for Homer, but he hasn't got a spade. And as we can see, actually H2O is ahead here with a pair of twos, and has got a flush draw.
There it is.
It's actually got the two of spade, which gives him a flush. And of course, it's given
the straight
Homer
to
the straight.
Homer, yeah.
9, 10, Jack, Queen, King. Now the problem is when he calls that, what does he do next?
What?
But-
See, Homer won that.
Did he raise it?
Stephen folded.
He didn't raise it.
Homer put in AC. Stephen folded, so I am right. He wasn't watching because he was well ahead there.
Goodness me.
Unless
No.
because he only had the two of spades, he thought that Homer had.
Yeah, I missed the betting there though. Did Homer raise
Homer
that?
put in 80.
How much did
Stephen folded?
Did Stephen bet to start with or not?
No.
He just checked.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he just thought it was
He
the
thought
highest,
that-
higher flush.
Yeah.
It's hard for him to call it with Homer betting though. Okay, that was a good move from Homer because he knows he's winning if the guy hasn't got a spade,
Yeah.
and he's now only gambling on him not having a spade. So that was a good move by Homer, and of course the lower flushes probably will pass.
Yeah.
So it was a good play by Homer, and not terrible by Stephen. He doesn't know where he is.
Right.
Sorry, I missed the betting now. I thought that. Yeah, that was quite a good poker. Garrow has got a full house, 3 10s and 2 jacks. He would only wish that his opponent had a better hand, because his opponent has got nothing. If only that last card had been a queen,
Yeah.
giving him a straight, he'd have had a chance to get paid some money. RNC's picked up the ladies. Early position. Lyndsay Horne's got a pair of lucky 7s. Better watch
I
to
was
see what
quite
happens
chuffed with
here.
what I do here, actually.
RNC raises 3 times the big blind. Lyndsay,
I thought, what's he doing raising an early position? What's he got? I've only got a pair of 7s and...
very
I folded
good.
it. I did actually say to myself, he's in early position, he's
And I'll
raised.
tell you what, that is good because you've not been getting any cards. It's quite frustrating. The pair of 7s looks like the best thing you've seen. You were on the button. Before anything happened, you were probably thinking, oh, this is not bad. And then you've put it down.
But
Very
I thought
good.
the big blind's only 40, so I can afford to wait for something a bit better.
Excellent. Very good.
And I didn't make that up. That is actually what I thought was at the time.
Very good. Well, you've got a merit mark. The first comment is a merit mark for you, so you're off to a good
I think
start.
it's going to be a slippery slope.
Well, at least you've started off with one merit mark. That's all right,
I
isn't it? You
I did one thing right.
keep the merit mark. You
Yeah.
might need to trade that in later to wipe out some other bits.
Yes, hopefully. I'll mark that one down. 1-0, the Hornster.
Right, the blind's 20-40. It's a flat raise from Homer there. And I think this is good. Again, keeping just control of the pot. He's declaring a raise. Now ended up in the contest here. But he's not put too many chips at risk.
Yeah. Oh, that's quite cheap. He might...
Very cheap. Because he's got the ace of hearts, he might be tempted to say he's got a backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw, and possibly thinks overcards. Well, he thinks the ace is an overcard, but and he just calls. Now that could get into trouble because
Yeah.
it's given him a pair, but
Chelsea's got 2.
yeah, exactly, and it's actually suckered them in there. And there is the danger of what I was saying earlier. When people tend to stay in there with big cards, they don't know what they're drawing to.
Yeah.
Because they think they're drawing to 6 outs, 3 aces and 3 jacks, but it might
But it
be...
puts the other person
might
ahead, so
have-
it cancels it out, yeah.
One, it's not as many outs, and 2, the other person, if they own part of it anyway, you haven't got all the outs, you've only got half of them,
Yeah.
because they're only going to get you into trouble. The outs you think are good are bad outs, because they're going to keep you in there, and you can't win with them.
They're actually helping someone else more than they're helping you.
Exactly. So that's why it's very dangerous that he's just calling with big cards. You just really don't know where you are.
Yeah.
You need to be getting incredibly good value to be able to do it, or to be against an opponent who you know you can push around. Well, Lyndsay's dribbled down to 890.
Yeah.
Hasn't really had much, done much.
There's nothing I've had that I should have played with.
No. And yeah, you made the good lay down, and nothing wrong at all.
Now it's watch and wait. You've had more cards than you made out up your ante. Now I'm watching it back.
Well, he said he was card dead,
So
did he?
yes, absolutely. I think he said ace 3 or something was the best he had, or was it? I think I've seen him with about 4 pairs.
Everyone thinks they have bad luck.
Right, this is the hand, the debate
Alright.
hand.
So now you've made it 4 times the big blind
Yeah.
with King Jack. So already I don't like the fact that you've bet too much.
Right.
So.
I'm pretty
And
sure
you've actually
this-
got the better hand to put it down. You got called by Queen 4.
Queen 4's called. Right, now.
Right, there's 340 in the middle.
Right, so this.
That's 40, and now it's up to you. You've hit the top pair here,
Yeah.
so
Right, so I
you've
raised.
raised, and that's fine. I like that.
The debate comes on the turn.
And now
No, so
Chelsea
I-
just called.
Yes.
Chelsea checks,
I checked.
and you check.
Now,
Right.
the
If go on, no, hang on. Let me watch it first. So, okay. Right.
The debate was that on the turn, because there was two diamonds on the flop, that I should have put in a bet on the turn because Chelsea, I gave him a free card because he could have been drawing to the flush.
Right.
That was what Double Top said.
Yeah.
Balrog said because Chelsea bet, I raised, then Chelsea called my raise. I didn't know where I was, so I
Yes.
was right to check it down.
Yes. And I'm going to side with Balrog there.
Right.
Because you didn't quite know where you
Yeah.
were, and as long as you were now prepared to check and call,
Right.
so you couldn't be pushed off it.
Yeah.
Because you've played this hand, it's a suspect hand anyway, King Jack, but you've hit your top pair.
Yeah.
There's been no reaction once you've done the re-raise, and as long as you now check and call, it doesn't feel like he's on a flush draw actually anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's okay what you did.
Right.
You've actually, but what I don't like at the beginning is that the size
It was
of your
too
raise
big.
was too big, basically, just a tad too big, because it's not the greatest of hand. If anyone wants to come over the top of you before the flop, you're going to put it down.
Yeah.
So why leave extra chips in the middle?
Yeah.
You could ask the same question. You've not played a hand all this time. So when you come in with a raise, you're already saying, I've got a better hand.
Right.
So you could have told them the same thing for 3 times the big blind instead of 4 times the big
Okay.
blind. So now it gives you that more room to be able to get away from it if you need to, and those chips are valuable.
Yeah. I just got
but I
carried-
think it's okay what you did there. I mean, listen, it could be played either way in the turn. It's not. It is. You read on the situation and the player. But I think if you're not sure where you are there, you've got position on them, it's okay now to check it.
Because when he called my raise, it did put a bit of doubt in my mind.
So I think I was okay. I think that's fine. I would side with that play there. Because you've actually only got the one pair anyway, yourself.
Yeah.
Ace Jack just calls. RNC makes it 120.
The fives join in.
Calls with King 10. Well, bets 160. So you bet 160 into a pot of 420. Now, funny enough, that bet, I think, is just a tad too small.
Right.
Because people could be there on flush draws or whatever.
Yeah.
And you definitely want to push the price of that bet up a bit.
Don't want them to be able to
Yeah,
the chance to hit their
yeah.
flush for cheaply.
So that one, actually, you've just done it.
The wrong way round.
Yeah. So that could have been, the price of that should be a bit more, I think. I wasn't mind keen on the call.
Yeah.
Because those
there was already
cards,
two.
those cards are in the territory. The only thing is this is a faster structure, so it does give you a bit more leeway on call. Cards are a little bit in the territory of what drawing cards, raising cards are. And the problem is that the cards which are raising in that area have you dominated generally. Either the kings have got an ace with them or whatever, or the ten has got an ace with it, or it's just...
I think I fell in the
king,
trap
queen,
of
it could be out,
the best I've had for quite a while. I fell into that.
But still, once you've got it and you've hit it, you're right to bet. But I think because there was two spades on the flop, you've now actually got to make that bet
about
a bit
200
stronger.
or...
Well, I think minimum half the pot, and you went below that.
Right.
Because if you make it look a bit weak there, someone might come over the top of you with a draw hand and make you put it down or something. So therefore, you've got to really say, look, I quite like this hand.
Yeah.
You're telling them, I've hit this flop and I quite like it. You really, because now you can react more to what they're going to do. You're going to put them off trying to steal it off you, and you're going to have just a better idea where you are. Because you're not really asking the proper question there, because it was a little bit weak. Do you understand?
Yeah, no, I do.
Homer there, he sees an opportunity and he puts in that bet 160. So I quite like the way he's using his chips at the moment, Homer.
So minimum raise from Chelsea with the twos.
And how's Homer going to react to this? He just calls, but he's got position. Chelsea there, he's just got the twos. Now there's three overcards out there, and unfortunately he doesn't even own a heart. So if he does hit one of his twos, if it's a heart, he might be comfortable there.
Yeah.
But what's he going to do? It's hard for him to play on unless he bets. So if he's going to try and steal it, or take it, he's not stealing, he's actually winning. Again, he probably had to make it sorry, he's actually in, beg your pardon, he's all in. Sorry about that, I missed I'm looking at his 2005 by his number. So he's decided just to commit there. Well, it wasn't comfortable, but he's managed to get away from it. Notice if on the end there, any of the other cards had paired up, he'd have lost.
Yeah.
Because there'd have been too big a pairs on the board then.
Yeah.
So there was a few outs for Home at the end there.
One.
Aces, jacks, all the other cards pairing up, but he was favourite with his twos. But it was a bit like keyhole surgery with it. And RNC, small blind, doesn't make it up. We've had a flat raise from H2O, and Chelsea, there's 280 in the middle. He's got to put 80 in, so he's getting 3.5 to 1, 7 to 2 is money. But he'll be out of position. Could be in trouble. Decide to get away from it. Do you need some cling film over your salad, Lyndsay?
Yeah, yes, that would be very helpful, James. Thank you.
Homer's got the top pair.
Homer Simpson's got a similar diet to mine. It's the weekend. Still technically the weekend, yeah, I guess.
I never noticed a difference.
Even though it's
days.
after midnight, but still.
After
Sort of.
midnight. Pair of jacks for Garrow. And the king queen, small raise, and the cut off, king queen suited. And he's got 2 overcards there to the jacks.
Look at that, James.
Wow,
He's flopped
unbelievable.
4 of a kind. What's the chances of flopping 4 of a kind?
Oh goodness, yeah.
That must be
I'm not quite sure actually.
extremely unlikely, I think we can safely say.
Can't believe it, can he?
No.
He cannot believe it. He's got king, queen, 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 queen.
Of course, Garrow says he's got a full house.
Actually, I believe that's the first time I've actually seen 3 queens on the flop.
I haven't, but then obviously I've not been playing very long, but...
No, it's the first time. I think it's the first time I've ever seen 3 queens on the flop. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. I bet it looks amazing from where RNC's sitting.
Especially getting all those chips for it. Whoa.
Nice hand. Now that is when you are allowed to write in the chat box VNH.
Poor old Garrow there, of course, he'd flopped a house.
Yeah.
He thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
3 queens, 2 jacks. You
And of
can't
course he's
possibly
thinking
have
it's
a queen.
unlikely that RNC's
Yeah.
got the other queen, of course.
And all he's bothered about, he just doesn't want to see. He doesn't want to see a king or an ace come over. That's all he's
Yeah.
saying. No, he's saying no king, no ace, no king, no ace. He thinks he's won it.
Yeah.
Well, battle of the king queens.
I can't believe this.
Lyndsay first to speak.
This is going to annoy me.
Well, how did the betting go here beforehand? Who raised?
Me.
Okay.
Stephen called me.
And now he's re-raised
He's
you.
re-raised me, and I remembered what you said earlier. I've only got 1 pair. That's what I was thinking to myself. I've only got 1 pair, and I can't believe I'm going to do this. Keep it, keep it. I just couldn't do it.
Listen, I'm never. We can see it's wrong, but to me, it's
At the
not.
time, I was just
To me, it's not a bad. If you're able to put a hand down, it's a good sign. Because if it's just you don't know where you are,
Yeah.
well, fair enough. It's a good sign because it's the people who can never put a hand down who've got a bigger problem.
Yeah.
Just because you've put down a winning hand there, no, it's a
It was
tying
tying
hand. It's not so bad even.
Yeah.
I mean, you've left some money behind there because you've bet it in, but because you put down a.
Because I was first to act, so I had to make the bet.
Yeah,
and
you did do.
It came on very strongly.
Yeah, and you know what the problem is because in your mind you're thinking he could have. What was it? He hit the king or the queen?
He hit the king as well.
Yeah. So you're thinking he might have ace king.
But there was a jack on the flop, so has he got king jack?
So he could have king
2
jack,
pair.
or he could have ace king.
Yeah.
And you probably weren't thinking about him having the same hand, king queen. But if we look at it, he can have ace king, where he's beating you. King queen is a tie. King jack, he's beating you.
Pair of aces, because
No,
I only
but
have a pair of kings.
of the kings,
Yes.
the top 3, 2 of them he beats you, and 1 of them he only share.
Yeah.
But that, of course, is a problem with the hand with the king queen. It's a hand where you're never that confident with it.
Yeah.
So you either win small pots or you lose big ones.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with the hand. And that's why I say it's a difficult hand to play.
Yeah.
And you sort of proved it, really, that it's difficult to play because in the end you've hit the top pair with it and you put it down.
I think it paid for Stephen there because he had position.
Yes.
That was what did it.
So therefore, when you play a hand which is difficult and you're playing it out of position, we found something out here, haven't we? It's difficult because you can be pushed off it if you're out of position, because of the inherent weaknesses of the hand.
Yeah, he got quite a bit out of me.
At the end of the day, I mean,
position.
it's because of the nature of this game. It's. And listen, I'm not displeased. I said I'm pleased to see that you're able to put hands down. Very important.
That's what I had in my mind. It's only one pair, and
but
it's hard now. I know what you had, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be thinking of that. But
you still had enough to play with anyway, because you still got 950.
yeah.
Now, as the blinds go up higher, well then of course you can't afford to let things go so much.
I don't
look
think
at
you're going to
this.
be very pleased with me.
You've been
here.
rewarded here now. You've put the hand down, but now suddenly the poker gods have decided to give you American Airlines. So let's see what Lyndsay does. Oh, and look at this. There's a raise from Stephen there. So already there's 280 in the middle. So Lyndsay will be pleased about this. And all right, she's pushed all in.
See, I didn't know whether I didn't
don't
make
mind
it
that.
pay properly by doing that, whether I should have just called.
No, I don't mind this. You could have gone. You could have made it 320, I think. Is what I think was the right play to do. Because you might then tempt Stephen to come in with his pair of twos.
Right.
So you could have gone 160 with 160. They're worried in case he re-raises you, so the other people pass anyway, and you end up heads up against him.
Yeah.
So I'd have dangled that in front of him.
I realised afterwards I could have...
But it's not terrible what you've done, because you've put yourself back to 1230 now, so you're above average chips. So you've not done anything too wrong. You've passed a hand where you were splitting. It doesn't matter, but you were out of position. You got bullied off it. Okay, it happens.
Yeah.
But if he'd got ace-king, we'd all be applauding you, wouldn't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he'd have done the same thing with ace-king.
Yes, he probably would
Right,
have,
so you can't tell the difference. We can't know for sure. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Here, I personally think the correct bet here was to make it something like 320 or make it 400. Just so there's a chance that you can get the initial raise to call, because you know you're beating him.
Yeah.
It's the only time in poker you know for sure.
Yeah.
Because you've got the best hand pre-flop. So therefore you want to say, I'll thin the field, and come on, initial raiser, why don't you and I just get it on?
I think I've seen aces not holding up quite a lot recently as well.
We just know the mathematics of it, and we know that you're a good favourite against all hands.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's all you have
I
to
did
bear in
think
mind. They don't win
afterwards-
all the time, of course they don't. But
I could have got more out
you
of
needed
that.
to, yeah. Because we only get big hands so often. We need to get money. Oh, look at this, we've got another...
3 jacks on the
Oh,
flop
come
now.
on, this is unbelievable. 1 minute 3 queens, next minute 3 jacks. Wow.
I can't believe this. Three queens on the flop, now 3 jacks.
And the blinds are up. They're up to 81.60, and we've only lost 1 player. And Garro has just made up the small blind. He's not connected. He's only got 220 left, and there's 320 in the middle. Yeah, I thought he was going to do this. And it was tough for you hadn't connected. But with the amount of chips he'd got there, it looked suspicious that he just made up the small blind. He actually represented in the way that he could already have a big hand because he hasn't got many chips.
Before that,
And now he's taken advantage of that, and he's just... Good play by Garro, anyway. Good play.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong by you, it's okay.
It's a situation like that where you just want to hit even a sniff of something, so it makes you...
Yeah, but he could have had the big hand as well, so there's nothing wrong with that. Don't worry about that either. That's fine. But it swings and roundabouts, and you can do a play like that with someone else another time.
Yeah.
Homer grabs that one with the 9. And Lyndsay there with 6-9. Sometimes naughtily known as Big Lick.
Oh, James.
Oops, Lindsay's got the giggles. King Kong's made it 320. Looking for action, King Kong. Ante there, just has to put 160 in, but doesn't fall for it. Lyndsay, aces again. What a girl. How do you do it?
I've never had them twice in one tournament before. Unfortunately, this time no one has anything. I should have just flat called it if I could have seen the cards, but...
Well, you couldn't see the cards.
No.
It's not terrible what you've done, is it?
Well, the blinds are worth taking at this stage. They're...
The only thing is there, you are, when you're in a later position, you can sometimes contemplate just calling, but it looks a bit smelly anyway. Queens now. I hope you didn't type in the box you weren't getting cards.
No, I didn't.
Do you just get the blinds again?
Yeah.
Oh, you want these hands a bit later in the tournament,
Yeah,
not
that's
now.
what's happening.
Well, it's nice anyway, but this gets you...
It gets me the blinds. Unfortunately, this is the time when you want someone to take you on. With,
Yeah, that's true.
Especially at this stage.
He's on his other table.
Yeah, that's what kept happening with Stephen.
Yeah. Well, you're up to 1470. You're second chip leader.
Yeah.
It's not too shabby, is it? DVN, ace, queen. And Garrow on the big blind just decides to check, and it comes over 399, not 3 nines, but 399. And DVN's got position here, so we'll see. Oh, but being preempted by Garrow. Oh, my goodness. And DVN thought he'd seen this move before he'd call it, but Garrow has hit the king.
Yeah.
Well, Garrow tried that play before. He was going to bet regardless. He thought a paired flop is a good one to make a bluff on, and that's correct. Generally, a flop with a pair on it is a pretty good flop to make a bluff with because it's less likely that your opponent's got any part of that flop. And that's what you want. So it was actually probably good opportunism by Garrow there, and then he got called by the ace-queen, which is suspect, because you're just calling with big cards. To give the ace-queen credit, he'd read it correctly and thought that Garrow was just on a steal, but then Garrow, ping, hit the king on the turn, no waiting, and that was enough. And now there's another pair of aces. Have they put more aces in the deck or what? H2O's got them this time. And again, no opposition. Big hands, no opposition, really frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm only there because I was on the big blind. I made it. He made it 320, but I thought he was trying to just steal my big blind, so I called him just for a look.
What did you call with that?
Jack 6. No, I was on the big blind,
Yes.
so I just put in another 160 because I thought he was trying to
You
steal
mean on the
blind.
small?
I was on the big blind. Stephen was on the button.
All right.
And I thought because he was on the button, he was just, and everyone else had folded, he was just trying to steal my blind.
Oh, I missed that one. I don't think I'd have liked it.
Okay, I'm glad you missed it then.
You haven't got enough chips to afford doing that.
Yeah.
It's just a hand you're really going to find difficult to know where you are with it. You had problems when you had even a better hand than that, You haven't got enough chips to be...
No, that's a good point.
to become overprotective of your blind at this stage. You just is not the time.
Right.
You don't want to be calling. You know, you want to be betting. Not you can bet with all sorts of hands, but calling with suspect hands is not going to be successful in the long run.
Okay.
You need to have a lot of chips to call with funny cards, because you need to have, you know, if you hit these miracles, you want to be well paid for it. You're not going to be well paid enough for it, so you're just really getting bad. It's not good odds for the sort of hand you've got.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone's got rubbish here. And up your ante's all in. So it's a showdown. Oh! Pair of nines on the flop again.
Yeah, took nines. Full house. There's the 8.
Unbelievable.
And there we say goodbye to up your ante. Out flopped. Seen some monsters tonight.
Well, Lyndsay's there, has done the raise, A7. You should have just pushed all in.
Yeah, there's no point keeping that back, was
No,
there?
because you don't want to give them any thought. It just, in case someone thinks, oh, I can get her to put it down or something stupid. It's not a hand you particularly want to play. You're very happy to take 480 chips. So when you've only got 350 left there, just say all in, because you want to maximise your fold equity. Because that hand is never going to be worth 480 on average. Your best result is give me the blinds.
Yeah.
You don't want to play it. So therefore, all in. You don't want to leave this funny amount in case it gives them a clue that they're going to get you off the hand or something stupid when you don't want them to do it. If you've got a monster hand, you can put in a funny bet and say, come over the top of me to capture their chips, but not when, in this case.
I just wanted them to put it down.
Yeah, basically. And then you think, oh, my ace might be winning. Well, that's the next story. But, you know, if you've got ace-7, they've got queen-jack, you're only a small favourite, 55% or something. But in this one, 480, 55% of the total sum, your percentage advantage is very small. It's never going to be worth all the blinds. There's only one thing you want is the blinds. Vroomf, all in. There's no other bet.
Okay.
Are you in tune?
Yeah, no,
are you in tune with the logic of it?
Because as well, what I thought as well, if I would have pushed it in anyway, so why not just do it in the first place?
Yeah.
If I'm going to put it in
in
response.
So maximise your fold equity, that is the key. Well, it's really getting juicy now, isn't it? 163.20, and Stephen here, he should have gone all in. Same thing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not looking very healthy now, James.
No, I wouldn't mind you making a move here. I think you could go all in. I would go all in there now with 7-8 suited. Because you're in the cut-off position. Already people have passed. I'd have probably made a move there.
Okay.
Just because you've still got 990, but you've only got 2 rounds of play left. Each round's going to cost you 480. You'd have beaten ace-5 if he'd played, and you'd have lost to DVN if he'd played. But it could have all been different anyway, so. Now you're late, now your earlier position, now there's more people to get past.
Yeah.
So now I wouldn't say push regardless there. It was just that last time I'd have probably thought time was running out, and I want to use that full punch. And 7-8, funny enough, if you do come up against a monster, it actually, suited connector's got a better chance against the big pairs than a lot of other hands.
Yeah.
So you've got that going for you. Plus you're not going to be coordinating with other people's hands which they're calling with particularly. They're not going to be calling with 7s and 8s in their hands.
No, so it's, it's more chance that they're going to be coming out.
And you definitely, you don't want to do that now because that's a below average hand. So now all you look at is now 326.40, you see? Now it's all your chips and the blinds. So you are now Your chips are going in now when you've got no choice. You had a choice before. Do you think you had any fold equity at all before? Do you think there's any chance people was going to pass, not knowing what they've got?
Yeah, I did before.
Well, there had to be a chance to pass. If
yeah.
you'd gone all in, there's got to be a chance people would pass. As it happens, you've got an above average hand here, but you're unlucky. You've walked into ace king. You've got a call. You do, and oh, you've hit your king, and he's hit his ace king. That's cruel. Very cruel. Okay, so you're all in now, Linds. You've got 6-7 suited.
No choice.
Okay, well that can win. In fact, it's in good shape. Unbelievably, it's in good shape.
Yeah, I don't want to see a 3. I'm hanging on.
And there you are. It's in good shape.
Problem is now the blinds are so big. I'm just absolutely
Right. That's below average. I would leave that one because you're just putting your chips in. I would leave that one. Yeah. I don't like having the deuce in the hand particularly. Funny enough, the deuce would have given you an up and down straight. Oh, you'd have made it.
Never mind.
Never mind. That seems reasonable. It's above average. Yep, I agree with you. And you're not bad shape. Oh, but he's hit his 5.
Yeah, there's the 5.
And he's got a spade as well. It's looking bleak. He's got his flush.
Yeah.
Yes, in the end, your chips went in because they just had to go in.
I let them eat me up, didn't I?
And you should have been looking ahead. You came to a situation there where you were in good position. You were in late position.
Yeah.
You had 7-8 suited, which is a hand which actually plays okay against other hands.
Yeah.
But you hadn't been doing too much at that time. Oh, you'd done some other raises which they'd respected, but then there was a position. It wasn't so much your cards.
And I
it's
had
what I
enough
said
chips
earlier on.
then where I
you had
could have made them
920, I think it was. The blinds were just about to go up, which was going to eat up all your blinds in one go. You've missed out the situation. You had to have some fold equity. People weren't going to call you 100% of the time, were they?
No.
In fact, you've got to think, what percentage of the time are they going to call me? Well, whatever that percentage is you own.
Yeah.
And you'd have grabbed those chips. And I really think you missed your opportunity there.
No, I did.
But altogether, I think you've been a bit hard on yourself. I think, you know...
I was all right in the early stages.
Some of the things which retrospectively look like mistakes, I think, are refreshing. I think it's good. I think that you're showing that you're capable of thinking. It doesn't mean to say you're going to get it all right all the time. I think you're prepared to put a hand down, which is a great step forward. You know, you're another notch on the ladder.
It looks worse when you can see the cards, but the actual decision wasn't...
You have to be able to lay hands down to be a winner at No Limit Hold'em, and that is clear. And you showed you can do that. And from then, you played on. But after that, you just didn't quite capture
towards
the moment.
Yes, I let it pass me.
Yes,
it passed me by and ate me up. But we will be watching the end of the Beat the Presenter game, so don't worry. Everyone else who's still in there, don't worry. We've not just stopped it because I've gone out. We will watch the conclusion. If you've got any questions or comments about Beat the Presenter or just a question for James, text us. 84222 is our text number. Put the word poker at the start of your message. 84222. And you can email, and there's the address. It's poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. We'd like to hear your thoughts on what you've seen so far. We will see the conclusion of Beat the Presenter, get some more emails and texts when we get back. So it'll be good to see how it finishes.
Yes, I'll be looking forward to seeing the end of that.
Lots of big hands coming out there. The fact that we saw
incredible. 3
someone
queens.
flop 4 of a kind.
Yeah.
So it'll be good to see how it ends up, definitely. So come back after the break. We'll see you in a few minutes. Hello, welcome back. You're watching Poker Night Live. I'm Lyndsay, and this handsome chap beside me is James Browning. We're here with you till 2 o'clock. We're going to go straight back to the Beat the Presenter game to watch the conclusion, because it'll be interesting to see how it finishes. I'm out, but there's still lots of play left. So, 4 players left. Homer Simpson backwards, RNC, H2O Stephen, and Garrow Boy.
I've got a bit of news for you which will cheer you up in a way, because we had the guy who emailed us before, and he was saying about how he's going to back against England 14-1.
Yeah.
And you were very upset because he was backing against England, obviously. And he wasn't a very good poker player, however.
Right. Because
I've just done a little bit of a search.
Right.
And actually, you can actually back Trinidad and Tobago at 28-1.
Oh, well.
So his 14-1 looks rather shabby.
There you go. That's what you get for making Judas bets.
But if you are going to make a Judas bet, at least get the right price.
Yes, make it pay. So those blinds are hurting now. 320, 640. Stephen's pushed in with his sixes.
Homer, he's got a 6 with his ace. This is a difficult one here for RNC, because he's got his 640 in the middle. He's only got 1260 left. It looks rather tempting. But maybe he's just worried about the bubble. But the thing is, he's really letting himself get really... Mathematically, he probably had to even call that, I think, but... It's so fast now. You just, unfortunately... You just can't be as selective now because the game is so expensive. Yeah,
but
it's
everyone at this stage is thinking about not being in the money.
Now he's got to push. He's got no choice. He must push. Yes, well done. But actually, I think King Jack suited in that situation, because of the size of blinds, he probably had to call before. Anyway, he's actually been called by an ace, so he's behind here. That 4 doesn't make any difference because the ace 4 is winning anyway. But he's gone. And I feel that actually he missed an opportunity because he was already in for the 640. There was so much money. The odds he was getting before, reluctantly, he might have had to call with the King Jack suited.
Yeah, that was the opportunity.
And there, at least he was going to get the good reward if he won it there. He'd have been really chipped up and in good situation, more chance to win the tournament. He let himself dwindle now to the really low.
Yeah, and made the same mistake I did.
Actually ended up with less fold equity because the guy with ace 4 called him.
Yeah.
And was actually underdog. Small underdog, but still. But for less of a prize even if he won that pot. So he didn't suddenly have a life of luxury if he won that pot, where he'd have had a better life if he'd won the pot before.
Yeah.
Ace 10 beats King 10 every time. And Homer takes the lead. He puts that down, small blind. And Stephen recaptures the lead. But he's put 640 of it straight in the middle for the big blind. Homer wants to see these two fight it out because the blind's now is 640, 1280. Look at that. Garrow's only got 20 left. It's obviously going to go in. There it is. Stephen's obviously calling, unless he's playing another table. And he's got a flush draw, Stephen. But, and there it is. No sooner said than done. He hits a 6 as well, just to show how easy it is. Poor old Garrow had hit the 10, was comfortably ahead, but Stephen got the flush. And now it's heads up. Homer against Stephen. The blinds are massive. They are capped at this. They don't get any higher. 640, 1280. It's high enough.
Should that have just been all in there?
Yes. He's obviously not going to. But now he's. There it is. Just delays the fact. In it goes. It's ace 5 against ace 6. And we need a bigger card. Oh, yes, that saved him. Has it? Yes, split pot. The pair. They shared the pair.
Right. And then
so
the
it
ace.
was 3-3, ace, queen, 9 or whatever it was.
Right.
The pair saved him. Right, he's got to go all in here. He does. Ace 5, and he has to call. he's got to call. It's only 720 more. He's getting huge odds to his money. He doesn't even have to look at his cards. Any 2 cards you've got to call with here. Oh, he does call eventually. I was going to say it'd be a horrible pass. Pair of jacks, 8, and Homer is still out in front, and he's done it. He's alive and kicking, and it's neck and neck now. 4,000 against 4,000.
Yeah.
Can't get fairer than that.
A real heads-up battle now.
And Stephen here, 6-9 in the small blind. Well, Homer, push, mate. He does. Oh well, nearly. That's his habit of just leaving 160 behind. But and a neck and neck yet again. Oh, and he's found another hand.
This
and
all
this is
going
it.
in
It
here.
looks like a collision. Pair of 7s against ace queen. It looks to be inevitable. The money's all going in the middle. Stephen deliberating before he makes the move. And there it is. Followed by all in. Followed by call. Oh, queen on the flop. Needs a 7. Nothing else will help. Only 2 outs. It's not there. It's queens and 5s for Homer Simpson. And Stephen came second. I must admit, I thought that Homer played pretty well in that sit and go.
Yeah.
I liked the early stages when he contained the size
You made
of the
a point
pots.
how he was making the
I
right
liked the
size
size of
bets.
his bets. I thought he played with a lot of control, and then he was prepared to change gears towards the end.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give really good marks to Homer Simpson.
Yeah,
there.
you did point out very early on about
Yes,
the way
I
he
liked
was
the way he was
betting.
playing.
Yeah.
I like the way he was playing.
And it pays off. So well done, both of you. Well done, Stephen, for coming second. I've actually got an email from Homer Simpson. He's actually called Stuart. And Stuart said, "Hi, Lyndsay and James. I've just triumphed in the Beat the Presenter game. I've only been playing for about 3 months. And what a feeling this is. It doesn't look like you've only been playing 3 months, believe me. Any comments regarding my play would be greatly appreciated. Thanks for all the comments during the programme. I watch all the time. Keep up the good work. And thank you greatly." Well, I can't believe you've only been playing for 3 months.
No, well done, Stuart. I think you've obviously been listening to the show, actually. I can tell you've been listening to the show, but the thing is, not only have you been listening, but you're putting it into practice, I'm glad to say. And I was well impressed with what you were doing there. And if you've only been playing 3 months, the future looks bright.
Very impressive. Well done. Well done. I've got an email from Jimbot.
Jimbot.
Jimbot, hey.
Hey, Jimbot.
Who says, "James, how lucky you are to be sitting next to such a gorgeous creature."
I
So
know.
it starts off well. "Hard to believe she originates from the pits of the earth." Yes, I'm from Sunderland, but I am joking. Like, the pits of the earth, goodness, I've only ventured into the dark place once and I'll wipe my feet on the way out. Never mind calling Newcastle the pits of the earth, that's terrible. James, I've had a most frustrating day. I've played in 6 MTTs, and in 4 of them I faced the same situation after working myself into a reasonable stack size. On each occasion I've landed ace-king suited, and on each time, whilst thinking what raise I'm going to make, someone with a bigger stack has gone all in. Unbelievably, after calling all in myself, I found myself up against aces each time and lost. Am I the unluckiest player on the planet today, or did I play these hands wrong, bearing in mind we were getting to the closing stages in each tournament?"
Well, if you get into the closing stages in each tournament, it probably means that the blinds were very big, in which case you probably don't have a lot of choice. In a regular tournament, ace-king is, in fact, ace-king is just so much better as a betting or a raising hand or a re-raising hand. But, of course, it's not a great calling hand because it is an underdog even against a pair of 2s. So that puts it into perspective. But if it's the latter stages, you've probably just been unlucky. And if it's the latter stages, you haven't got time to really finesse and guess whether, or estimate whether your opponent has got the big pair or not. I would, again, the problem is, I would still bear in mind, unless I knew the exact situation of how many chips you had, how many chips your opponent had, even with ace-king, I would still be looking for situations in a tournament. And when you call, and it's obvious when we think about it, the only way you're going to win is by having the best hand at the end. So all of your percentage is wrapped up in the result. So therefore, when you are up against a pair, you are the underdog. And you are now going to win less than 50% of the time. That's the nitty-gritty of it. When we make a bet, and we are the aggressor, for example, I was saying to Lyndsay I wanted her to make the move with 7-8 suited when late position. I believe there that there was quite a percentage of fold equity still because she was in late position. So therefore, in that situation, she's going to win whatever percentage of the time people pass, and then even when she's underdog, she's going to win a percentage of the times when she's got to go to the showdown. But overall, she is going to be well above 50%, and that's with a far worse hand than ace-king. So therefore, we have to bear that in mind. And there will be times there where if you're not sure, you know, or it doesn't suit, you say, listen, next time I can bet with anything maybe and get people to pass, you don't have to call with ace-king. But if it's very high blinds, like 640, 1280, well, this is now looks like a monster hand and they could be pushing with anything. That's different. But I would actually have to know the real details of where you were in the tournaments to give you the exact answer. But anyway, I hope that guideline helps.
Yeah, I hope it helps you, Jim. But thanks for your emails. See, we welcome all emails here at Poker Night
Oh
Live.
yeah, and we still want more.
Even those from Sunderland.
We want more, don't we?
We
still?
do want more. Now
us
we've
busy.
got the final table of our MTT to get to. It's ready to go, but just before that, Matt says, great show as always. Unbelievable is an expression I've heard James use all night while commentating on the flops that have been appearing. Unbelievable indeed. But as we all know, that unfortunately is online poker. What is unbelievable is that they get away with calling it random.
Good luck.
On that note, let's head to our final table of the MTT. So three left.
And this is 3 left. There's a total number of chips. There's 180,000 chips in play. And we've got Angel, Golden Jaguar, and Mr. Perfect.
Purr.
And the last 10 players got prizes. So the winner of this tournament is going to actually get 360, second's going to get 240, third's going to get 150, and fourth has just got 114.
Yeah. So it was a $10 buy and there was one rebuy and one $10 add-on.
Here we go. Blinds 1,500, 3,000. And Angel's our chip leader here. And the blinds have been passed around at the moment. Okay, we've got Mr. Perfect here, just done a raise to 6,000. Flat raise, 3 with 3. And that's good enough to capture 4,500, because the blinds are 1,500, 3,000. And there's another one, he's suddenly crept up to 32,000 now. Golden Jag. Well, I'm surprised that Angel, the chip leader, didn't try and pressurise the blinds there with his ace, but he let it go and Golden Jaguar's got a flush draw and a middle pin straight draw. But Mr. Perfect's got the queen, and Golden Jaguar's going to call this, I think. He's got quite a few outs, but he doesn't get them. And Mr. Perfect is now shot up to second place. And now poor old Golden Jaguar, who had a reasonable hand there, flush draw and a middle pin straight draw, is now languishing in third place. And he's now going to try and flat raise with this ace-jack. He wants to play this. He's thinking he can win some chips with it. Mr. Perfect, I'm sure, is going to pass that. Leave it to Angel. Angel says no thanks. And Angel here in chip lead has really not been doing too much. Well, as soon as I say that, he does something. And he does pressurise Golden Jag there. He had his ace and he pressurised him. Another ace. Will we see more from Angel? Yes, now he's turning up the... changing gears now. Popping in another raise. And he should be able to squeeze Mr. Perfect out of that. So he snaffled up another 4,500. And now he's found a real hand. Because Mr. Perfect got tired of giving him the blinds. And he's going to... oh, he's just made it up. And now it's a raise from Angel, 12,000. But Mr. Perfect has probably got his eye on second place here. No, he hasn't. He's just whacked it all in. Well, this is really dramatic here. And Angel... no, surely not. Oh, I'm watching... Lyndsay...
He's worried that he's going to lose his massive lead. And
oh, no.
Is he going to?
Oh,
yeah,
my goodness. And Angel's not going to enjoy watching that one.
Not at all.
He was the chip leader there. It wasn't his tournament life. And they're playing three-handed. It's hard to believe that your pair of queens isn't the master.
Is that where it came into it, that it was just too much, that Mr. Perfect still had that much fold equity?
Well, that is tough to... I mean, it was a very brave play by Mr. Perfect there, because he's raised, has been a re-raise, and...
wow.
Hang on, did he just make up the small blind? He just made up the small blind, Mr. Perfect. Then there was a raise, then he did the re-raise, that was it. But still brave by Mr. Perfect there. He just didn't put Angel on the hand, obviously. He thought he was on two big cards, and he played accordingly. But Angel there, but it's kept his chip lead. I suppose the argument is that he didn't know where he was, so he preferred to play on where he is, and he said, I'll still use my chips. It just looks bad for us here, but I mean, it was a difficult fold, that's for sure. Anyway, Golden Jaguar's pressed the all-in button. Angel here, pair threes, he's called that one. He doesn't mind the amount of chips he was fighting up against, but it's 8, 9, 10 Jack Queen for Golden Jaguar, and he is now back in the game. And Angel has now got a little bit of a lead now. Mr. Perfect breathing down his neck, and Golden Jaguar not going as fast as the others. Well, mainly because Mr. Prescott's in it, and slowed it down a bit. Oh, Golden Jaguar! It could be the new entrant to the Big Brother house.
You never know.
She's got the Jaguar.
Or the gold, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Golden Jaguar.
So
Do you know who... I was going to say, we've got these 10 prizes. Do you want to give a shout to who came 10th?
yes, Sharkbait came 10th.
9th.
18 bucks. 9th, Gaza Louis, $36.
8th.
Anfield James, $48.
7th.
Idleys, $60.
Cat's Eyes.
Yeah, came 6th for $78. Stanters came 5th and won $96.
And 4th?
Was Morrison 24, who won $114.
Oh, brilliant. There we are.
So well done to everyone for coming in the money.
And Angel here now is being pretty aggressive here. He's now done a raise with King 4. But that's good. He wants to be a better rather than a caller, basically. So we can't be too harsh. It looked shocking on the screen. We've seen Phil Hellmuth put down a pair of queens many a time. And Angel tries again. And he's recaptured that lead again.
Folds around to Mr. Perfect. 3 9's all it takes. No, Golden Jaguar puts in the raise with Jack 10. No one's got anything to call with. No, Ace Queen Ace Jack.
Ah, and it's a raise from Angel. Made it 8,000. Oh, and he's called that one. Now that's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
That is very strange. I mean, because this time he's got nothing, basically.
Yeah.
And he's decided to commit all those chips. And Ace Jack is easily a hand you can put down.
Yeah.
Because this can be dominated
more so
by
than a
Ace
pair of
Queen,
queens.
Ace King, all the pairs. I mean, easily laid down. Yet he made this massive laydown with queens, and he couldn't put down Ace Jack. How weird is that? Very strange. Well, he's gone. Excuse me. He's attacked with the Ace Queen himself. Wow, that staggered me. That.
Yeah, it's so much more a hand that you'd be more willing to put down.
Yeah. So sort of a lack of consistency there, really, in his thinking.
There's not a lot ahead of your pair of queens. But there's all sorts that can beat your Ace Jack, which isn't even a made hand.
Oh, we can't count how many. It's too many. Well, now he's been very aggressive. He's going to try and battle his way back in this, so good credit to him. The blinds are 2,000, 4,000, and he needs to do it, because each round is going to cost him 6,000. He's only got 4 rounds of play in his chips.
Yeah.
And he knows this. So to be fair to Angel, there's been two things there which have opened our eyes, but we've also seen that he's been prepared to be very aggressive when he's had to. So I'm going to give him... He's done a lot of things right. And the other things are just... The Ace Jack was the one where he just didn't look to give it any thought.
Yeah.
And I thought that was... It certainly warranted... It couldn't have just been an automatic call the way he did it. It had to be... It was a big decision for his tournament. I think it warranted far more thought than he gave it.
Yeah, it was very quick, wasn't it,
Yes,
the decision?
it was just like frustrated call. I think he's going to attack again with the ace. Yes, he does. Look at that. He's really changed gear now. He knows he's in third place. He knows he's got to bash away here.
Yeah, but fair play to him for
Look at this. We're going to see it again. Unfortunately, he's going to run into trouble. Yeah, there it is again. He's raised, but he hasn't done the all-in raise there. Now he must put that down. That was the benefit of doing that 8. You've kept the life.
You've asked a
Yes,
question.
well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Very good. And that was when he changed gear. Remember I said before, when there's an all-in mode, but when you get above that slightly, you can put in the different bet.
Yes.
Just so you can give yourself an option.
At
And he
least
did that.
He gave himself a get-out clause.
He did, and that was really... And now he's lost that. He's now gone to the all-in mode quite correctly again. And that is excellent. That is fantastic, because he had to do it again.
Yeah.
So very good there.
Angel redeeming himself.
Yeah, and he puts that one down, which I think is correct. He doesn't want to battle away with that. This is very interesting. I'm enjoying this, actually.
Doesn't fancy the King 7.
And Golden Jaguar makes that 14, just over 3 times the big blind. He obviously doesn't want to play a flop with it. Every card's been frightened, most cards have been frightened to a 4. Deuce 3, no thanks. And well, there's a 6, which gives Angel a pair of 6s, and he gives Mr. Perfect an up and down straight. And he's betting he's passed with the 6. And that was a good semi-bluff by Mr. Perfect. And now we'll see Angel go back to his all-in mode now, when the hand is right. I'm predicting that Angel's next bet will be all-in with this 26,000. Let's see if it's right.
Yeah, see if he turns it back up a gear.
Yes.
8-10, you were right. Mystic James strikes again. Oh, and look,
Yeah.
hit his 8. And look, he's well back into it now. Angel's...
As predicted here, he was going to change gear again and go to the all-in mode. And he did it with 8-10. He could have done it with 7-8.
Yeah, he could have.
Does that
Yes,
Yes.
it has taught me a big
Because
lesson.
I'm
Yeah,
only going
no,
on about it.
No, it's good.
I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm just giving you something that you remember.
It'll stick in my mind.
Because
And
James went on about
and
it.
it's something that I will be looking
But I'm
out
only doing it
for.
because I want you to just keep on getting better. I'm
Yeah.
not really being nasty with you.
Oh no, I know that. I'd rather you hammered the point home to
Yeah.
me so I don't make the same mistakes
right.
twice. Otherwise I'll never get any better.
Look at that. And Angel has recaptured the lead. Well,
Now what a comeback.
interesting, isn't it?
He's had to take control of the play and keep stepping it up and down, and
yes. And now his bet size will be different when he bets. In fact, he's let these two try and fight it out. That's what he wants.
Yeah, quite a skillful comeback.
Well, and now he's going to probably make it 8,000. 12, okay. But he knows when he can alter the betting level,
Yes.
and that's very good because he's
To know when just to make the bet and
because
when
he's
to
seeing
push
how much
in.
play he's got. He's got more play now. He can afford now to go to a more reasonable bet
Yeah.
because he can say this is a raise. I don't
doesn't
have to
need to
press the
risk
all-in
all
button.
his-
We see people just going all in. They're going to just walk into a brick wall sooner or later.
Yeah.
But he isn't. He's given himself a chance. Once he dodged a bullet one time, he's varied his bets. And then also, when he gets to a stage where he needs to go all in, oops, we've got something here, aces, and Mr. Perfect needs a 5. And that's a strange bet by Golden Jaguar, because listen, if Mr. Perfect did have a flush draw, he's making it easy for him to call
Making it cheap if he's sitting there with 2 diamonds or 2 clubs.
Yeah. So I think that was a bit too cute for his own good there.
Got away with it, but it could have been very dangerous.
And just a call, just a make-up of the small blind by Perfect. Angel. And it's a re-raise for Mr. Perfect. Angel, easy pass because he's got nothing. Unless we're going to see something really dramatic. I don't think so, though. No. It's either a pass or over the top again, but no need for that. But Mr. Perfect, it looks like he showed his hand there as well, I think.
Yeah,
It came back again, so I think he rubbed it in Angel's face there. And he had an ace there, Angel, but he didn't fall for the bait there. He said, no, I don't care. Golden Jag. And he's been caught, he's put all in, sorry, it's an all-in bet from Mr. Perfect with ace queen. Golden Jag puts it down, he's docked that one. Well, Mr. Perfect stolen the lead now, 77,000 chips. And he's found another reasonable hand there. In fact, ace 7 is very reasonable against 7-5, that is for sure, especially when you're suited. All over him he was. Well, 10 Jack, the best hand Angel's seen for a while. He just checks it. And Mr. Perfect's hit a 5.
Yeah.
Yes, he puts in a little bet, he puts pot-size bet, 8,000, he bets 8,000. Big slick.
Yep, another hand for Mr. Perfect. He's having a nice little spell.
Well, oops, and he's decided to have a try here. He's made it 3 times the big blind. Ouch. And the problem is here, this guy doesn't have so much chips. Yes, he's a bit committed to call.
He's hit the queen.
And he's done it. He got lucky. He didn't like it, but the problem was it was a guy with less chips who called his raise. He made him more or less pot committed to call it. And that's why he called it. If the other guy puts him in, he passes it.
Yes.
Because the bet's too much. So that was an interesting situation now, but he's a bit unlucky now. It's the 7-8 against a pair of aces.
Mr. Perfect going to play this quite cutely.
It looks like it. He's also got a straight draw as well as the pair. Now a heart has appeared on board.
He needs a 6.
He's got a middle pin straight draw there. He needs a 6, so this is a semi-bluff. But Mr. Perfect here, hard for him to believe that this has helped him. And Mr. Perfect's shown a lot of patience here. And Angel's now at just a cold bluff there, 12,000 into a pot of 32. And Mr. Perfect, well,
there it is.
doesn't believe him. And Angel deliberates here as if, well, I've got a king, but I'm passing it anyway. And Mr. Perfect scoops, but he was confident his hand was winning and he played it to win chips.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Lots of little jabs and the sucker punch at the end.
Yeah. Angel now going to have to step on the gas again. He's made it 12,000. He's still well in touch here. It's 109 against 70.
Yep. And well done to Golden Jaguar as well, coming third place, $150 for third place.
You've lost your top position, but you've still got a house in the country, so you're okay.
Not anymore, he's given it up.
Oh, you're giving that up as well now?
Yes, eventually.
Where's he going to play croquet? Cowboys, King Kong. I must admit, John Prescott playing croquet is the last image I could have ever conjured up in my mind.
Just can't imagine it, can't you?
No.
I can imagine him playing snooker or something, or darts, but not croquet. You always associate croquet with a man of class.
Top pair there for Angel. And we've got a flush draw for Mr. Perfect, and no, that's about it. But he's also got a pair of 8s. And look at this, it's getting neck and neck again. 91,007 against 88,2. But both of them have got garbage hands here, so let's see what happens with the garbage. I think Angel might just let this go. Nope. He's raised with it. Okay. And he's captured the lead again.
Now, both got an ace. Angel's got the better one, undersuited.
Ooh, and look at that, he knows it. And he's taken another pot down. He's broken the 100 barrier. Perfect. Ah, he surrenders that one. Varying his play. Ace, King, 9. Nobody owns any of it. Yep, it was another check, 2 checks in a row for Mr. Perfect. So Angel bet, but Mr. Perfect called. He didn't actually bet big enough there, Angel, I think. And check again from Perfect. Are you going to follow up with another punch?
No.
He didn't like any of it. The problem was the club scared him, everything scared him. He lost the urge to bluff there. Lines of 3-6 here. And Angel's hit the top pair, but so's Mr. Perfect. And
Yes.
Mr. Perfect has got a bigger kicker. Angel's got a kicker which could make it straight, and that's probably why he's raised. He thinks he has a bit more. And I've got a feeling Mr. Perfect might, yes, he's definitely going to at least call it. I thought he might have even come back over. Now Angel's getting committed here in a big way with this dodgy kicker. And he wins it.
Yeah.
Wow, very aggressive play from Angel there. Very aggressive play.
Perfect. Put him
8,
on a
6,
9, I
10.
think.
And an 8 would be good for Mr. Perfect. And now a queen or a club, but it's a 7. And that's made Mr. Perfect a pair. Lots of cards for both players there. And Angel dominating here. He's got 10-9 against 9-4. And he's gone to 124,000. Oh, it's one-way traffic at the minute. And he's found Kojak. And it's against another king. And he's taken that as well. And each pot he's taken here, that's 9,000 because it's 3 and 6. He's made up the small blind with 8-10, and he's hit the 8. He's got 2 pairs. He's just bet straight away and takes it down. And Mr. Perfect's been whittled down to 46,000. And another one for Angel, 43,000. My goodness. Well, he's found a hand now, Mr. Perfect, and Angel doesn't want to know. He doesn't even make up the small blind that time. He's like he's got radar. And he's found a hand.
Wow.
But this
So
could be a
it's Mr.
collision.
Perfect.
Pair of 9s against King Jack, suited. I could see this going all the way. Mr. Perfect has really been knocked down, and I think he could come over the top here. Yes, he did.
No. Yep. In it goes.
Oh, icing on the cake. And Angel hit the trips on the end. It made 3 9s. Mr. Perfect, I sensed he was going to do the play. He did it. He wasn't too bad. He wasn't in too bad shape pre-flop. He had to do something because he'd gone low on chip. Angel had bullied him and battered him to death there. And very interesting.
Really good when it was 3-handed there, wasn't
yeah.
it? It was really exciting to watch, and then a great heads-up battle at the end.
Right, and this is very, very interesting here. I think overall, and we saw some quite controversial plays there.
Yeah.
And even from Angel himself. But I think overall, Angel played very well. I think he played very, very
When
well.
you think when he lost that hand with the ace-jack, he was
And
down to about
no,
20,000.
the first was when we saw him put down the pair
queens.
of queens. So everyone's going, shock horror, how can you do that? Look, your opponent's only got 7s, what a muppet, how could he play like that, etc. The underlying thing, obviously, in Angel's mind was that he, in the poker, wants to be a better rather than a caller. And he showed that to us later in this tournament. He showed it by being aggressive when he had to be aggressive.
And he was a big chip leader at that point when he put the queens down.
And he
I don't
felt that
think
he
wanted to
still,
risk
he
that
said, if I
much.
put it down, I'm still chip leader.
Yeah.
I think I can still win it.
Why
and I'm
take
not
the
sure
risk now?
where I am. I think you could have the big pair. And for whatever his reason, he wasn't comfortable. There'll be plenty of times when that re-raise is right and it's aces or kings. Anyway, whatever. I'm not arguing whether that was the right play or not. But he didn't let it affect him at all. He then actually made a questionable play. The only time I think he really wobbled, I did not like his immediate call with the ace-jack.
Yeah.
But overall, there's a lot of decisions to be made in the tournament. And I think that he made a lot of really good decisions.
It was the way he recovered after that that was so impressive.
What I liked most of all, and what I want Lyndsay to take away from this, is how he changed his betting according to how many chips he had.
Yeah.
And
he was
how
pushing in at the right time.
He took his
making a
opportunities
smaller
to
bet
push.
when he didn't need
When it was
to.
right, 10, I said before he was going to do it, we're going to see his next move is going to be all in. It was a 10-8, woomph,
Yeah.
all in it was. Because he said, that's not so much the hand, it's the situation.
Yeah, and he knew just when to do it.
Then when he got to more chips, he slowed down again and he put in different size raises
foot
again.
off the gas.
Yes, but altogether, I liked it. It was a very enjoyable final.
Well done, and $360 there for
Yeah,
first
well
play.
deserved. But listen, you both did very, very well indeed, and Mr. Perfect, well done to you. And I've got no objections to how you played the last hand. I felt you were going to do it that way, and that was fine.
There
Just
you go.
unlucky.
Well done. All right, I've got a couple of emails. Rob, DVN1, says, hi PNL pros, pro and one amateur. I just wanted to ask about the situation in the Beat the Presenter game when I had ace-queen. I had ace-queen in early position with 3 players to the left of me, 2 of which were short-stacked, so I decided just to call. Being in early position, I thought an all-in by a later position player was a reasonable assumption. When all players folded and the short-stacked player in the big blind just checked, I knew I was in good shape because if they had a pair or any reasonable hand, they would have gone all in. So when a paired flop came, I knew that if the player went all in, I would almost definitely be ahead. I come to this conclusion because if the player hit trips, he wouldn't bet, thus they would still have the same poor cards I had put him on pre-flop. There is only one situation where that player would be ahead, and that is if he had hit bottom pair. So therefore I believed I had played that hand perfect and was unfortunate to lose the hand on the turn when the player hit the king after the money went in. Do you agree with what I did? Or at what point did you think I made the wrong play? Thanks, guys. Great show.
I think your analysis of the situation there is good, actually. I remember that hand. It's when your opponent pushed all in with king 7, I believe it was, and hit the king,
yes.
and you had the ace queen. Yes. The way you were saying about their situation with their chip stack, and you were pretty sure that you'd have heard from them earlier if they'd had something. I think that's a good little bit of thinking there. And I think maybe when I was watching it, I wasn't particularly thinking of that. But I think it's a good point that you've made, and I think altogether that's a good play. I think that's a good play. So well read, and in the end you were just unlucky there, and. I think actually did read that situation well. So I like that analysis, and I really like that email. Very good. Keep on playing well, and look forward to seeing you playing on the show another night.
Yeah, good email. Jim Jr. says, hi guys, enjoying the show as usual. Keep up the good work. I'm sorry this is a rather long email, but I'm going to read it anyway. I've just played one of the most satisfying games I've ever been involved in. I lost a big pot in the first hand and was down to 40 chips. 2 big blinds.
Wow.
After a lot of luck, I eventually managed to win the sit and go, working my way up to 20,000 chips, where there's a chip and a chair and all that. Anyway, my question concerns profitability, as I often hear you talking about playing your most profitable game. I play for fun, and although I do participate in cash games, I've found single table sit and goes to be the most enjoyable. Recently, I've started to take analysis more seriously, and the stats on my last 500 tourneys show the following.
All right.
In $30 single table sit and goes, I'm finishing in the money 38% of the time, and once in the money. I'm finishing in the money 38% of the time. He's putting once in the money. Is that once winning, I think, maybe? I'm placing first 39%.
Right.
Okay. So he's finishing in the money 38% of the time.
And he's placing first out of the 3 plays, 39%.
Yes.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, in $20 sit and goes, I finish in the top 3 45% of the time.
Right.
But once in the money, I am only winning 17% of these games. So he's coming in the top 3 45% of the time, but only actually winning 17%. In monetary terms, the $30 tourney wins are obviously better for my bankroll. However, would you say in the long run it's more profitable for me to be playing the games where I'm consistently making the top 3, even though I'm perhaps not winning my fair share of these?
Yes, although you've played 500 sit and goes, this is good, but it's still not a long enough trial. So the very fact that you've been winning less first prizes in the $20 one isn't yet significant, because that can increase. You know, you might suddenly, when you reach the last 3, you might suddenly have a spate of winning them. But what overall is, when we put them both together, the best thing we see there is that, you know, you are making the last 3 over 40% of the time if we put them both together. Well, that's brilliant, because this means it's going to be a profitable venture for you. And the more you play, then the more you can concentrate on getting that first prize. Basically, in a sit and go, initially our target is to get to the top 3. Once we reach the top 3, our target should be to go to first. We should forget about second, we should just aim then to go to first, because the jump between third and second is very small. 20% for third, 30% for second. But first gets 50%. So the jump from 20 to 50 is so much more significant than 20 to 30. So that's our only target once we reach the top 3. But initially, our first aim is top 3. Well, you are achieving that magnificently. One thing I would recommend is that you can go to some of the sites and where you can actually just play some heads-up tournaments. And I would sharpen up your heads-up game and just go and play some small stake. I just even go to the $5 until you get your head round it. Go to these $5 tournaments, and I would practice playing turbo ones, different length ones. I would just practice some heads-up tournaments, and therefore you're going to catch up, because a lot of the time, even though you enter a lot of tournaments, you're not going to get very much practice playing heads-up. Even with your percentage of reaching the final, you're still only going to be relatively small time. You're going to be playing heads-up. So actually play some specific heads-up tournaments. Keep records on those. Track your records at the different prices on those as well. Track your records on the different structures, turbo, regular, slow, and then this will help you with your game as well.
And very good that Jim is actually sort of taking the analysis really seriously now. He normally just plays for fun, doesn't normally analyse his game, and now he's actually starting to keep notes.
Of course, but the thing is, even though you're just playing for fun, it's far more fun when you're playing with a purpose.
Yeah.
And then you're monitoring what you're doing, and when you learn, and even if you're not playing it as a living, but if you get better at something, that in itself is fun. I mean, if you play tennis for fun, how great is it when all of a sudden you start to hit your inside-out topspin forehand or whatever? It's very satisfying.
Yeah.
You're not a professional tennis player, but when you hit it, you go, yes. Or you,
Makes it even
or your
better.
golf shot, and you make the good one. You enjoy it. Same with poker. You might only be playing for fun, but it's fun to get better.
So there you go, Jim Jr. Thank you for your email. Phil says, hi guys, I was just wondering if you could recommend any good no-limit hold'em tourneys in the north. I live in Huddersfield, and as you may remember from previous emails, James, I don't like the amount of play in their low-chip, quick blind structures. Just as a note, I did take your advice and take my suggestions to the card room manager.
Oh, good, I remember that.
Yeah, but he did say that there are plans to improve the structure, but I don't know how long that will take to come into effect. Anyway, back to my question. Which tournaments would you recommend as good ones to play in the north of England? And that's from Phil.
Okay, I believe that from where you are in Huddersfield, you could check out some games in Sheffield. I believe in Napoleon's in Sheffield. I think they have some quite good tournaments there, so you could check those out. But also what you could do is you could take a little trip up to Newcastle. And we've got 4 casinos in Newcastle, and they're all doing poker. And there's quite a lot of the tournaments there do have some really good structures. So you can play poker there every night of the week now. And they're getting very professional with the way it run the tournaments. We've got Aspers, Stanleys, Grosvenor and Ballantynes.
And what a wonderful city it is as
poker
well.
Heaven.
Spend some time.
It's poker heaven. I'll be in poker heaven on Tuesday playing in a £50 no-limit tournament at Aspers. And so there'll be a big entry, and afterwards a thriving cash game.
They know how to have a good time as well. So good luck with that. Punky says, when you have a drawing hand that you think is currently behind, but if it were to hit on the turn or the river would be the nuts, would you recommend re-raising to build your potential pot, push off other players, calling other players' raises to see the turn or river cards, or getting to see the cards for free by checking and hoping that they check?
When you've got a drawing hand, you actually do want to have company there, because basically, because you are odds against to complete this hand, you want to make sure that you get rewarded when you do hit the hand. i.e. that there's enough people in the pot who are going to pay you, and this will give you the correct odds. So basically, you adapt your betting accordingly. Again, it depends on the player. Is he a caller or not? If these people call all the time, you can actually, if there's enough people in the pot, you can just put a small bet in to build up the pot, because you're getting more than the odds.
So there you go, Punky. Hope that's helped you out. Unfortunately, that's all we've got time
Oh,
for. It's
should we do
flown
another
over
hour?
tonight. I wish we could. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all your emails and texts. We've really enjoyed it tonight. Thank you. From me and from James.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Good night.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.